Now, people might know I've threatened to do this video quite a few times, right, where I've said I get so sick and tired of the anonymous leakers and the people in general. Now, some of them even go with their real name, but just do shoddy journalism. But then they don't just want to get all the credit and all the engagement and all the clout off actually getting rumors out there and becoming famous and even sometimes getting jobs and money and recognition. No. They also simultaneously want to act like they're as good a journalist as some of the best journalists ever, that they're using journalistic methods. They deny they did things wrong until it's basically proven and they're just completely exposed as being absolutely full of shite. But even worse than that, these people then, if you point out that they're corrupt or liar or not using real sources, will just attack you and do it in an entirely personal ad hominem matter approach where basically they just make a fool out of themselves but hope that their little fucking entourage enclave of little Twitter goblins will all fucking follow them. Yes, master. But the master is sometimes right, so it's fine for him to be wrong. And besides, who are you? You're just jealous of them. And I'm so bored of it. It's so boring. So I thought what I'd do is I'll pick out, especially I go for the head of the snake. I'll pick out the biggest one and I'll show you how full of shit this guy is and how doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, isn't using real journalistic methods. And in fact, is flouting journalistic principles and safeguards that stop you making mistakes and fucking people's careers up and just spreading lies about them on the internet or things you cannot know and therefore are a lie that you're pretending to know. I thought, you know what, we'll expose all that and I'll actually use journalism, the tools of journalism, to show you why. And by the way, don't worry, I've saved it towards the end, but I've got kind of a smoking gun. I've got a case where this guy's absolutely full of shit and I can explain how. So when it comes to the leakers, anonymous or otherwise, because as I say, that line's been blurred at this point in time. Look, being anonymous is terrible. If you're anonymous, that means we don't know who you are. So since we don't know who you are, when you're wrong, you aren't wrong. Just whatever fucking name, whatever Pokemon you've named yourself after, he's wrong. So technically, at any point in time, you could disappear. Remember, your whole source network could still be intact. You could have a bunch of Smurfs behind the scenes or similar contacts you can reach out to, and you could just reappear as a different Pokemon or as a different name. We would never know as much, and would your actual record ever be preserved? Who can tell? Whereas meanwhile, if Jacob Wolf or any of the other top journalists out there in the scene come out with a report that is wrong, it's shown to be wrong, they are shown to be full of shit, or they kind of blurred the lines, they cut corners, they have to carry that for the rest of their days. That will be brought up for years to come when someone doesn't like them, when someone doesn't like their report, or when someone actually thinks they've done something else wrong. That will be referenced, and even if it's once or twice, that will hang around their necks like an albatross, and they will never fully escape it. But first of all, the anonymous guy doesn't have to worry about that before we know who his name is and what he looks like. And worse, because of the culture of this TMZ angle of like, oh, I'm just addicted to the dopamine of if it's even possibly true, if some of them are true. People don't even care that these guys get it wrong loads of the times. There's a guy here who's one of the best who was bragging about the fact that he almost got 80% of the moves right. Almost. He was bragging that like only 1 in 5 times is he just wrong. By his own words, wrong. The report is just wrong. The move wasn't happening. It wasn't going to happen. That is mental. And you fans really justify that and go, well, he is right some of the times. Holy shit, how bad would you have to be wrong all the time? The whole point of the best journalists is they don't go forward to the info unless they know it is correct, unless they know that is what is happening. And so even when they're wrong, that's why you won't see them admit it, because they very rarely actually are wrong. Maybe something did change in the deal. Maybe someone did actually come in last second and pounce and keep him with a bigger offer or sign him for a different one. They can say, even if the player comes out, players lie, teams lie, they can say to them, no, you're lying. I know this is legit. I verified it with my sources. I use journalistic procedures and protocols. Therefore, I can stand on this. You'll see these guys don't. They instantly cave because they know they're full of shit. That's the worst thing. It's not that they're harmless and just fools and just using any old info that they can traffic in as little nobodies when they start out. No, they know they don't know what they're talking about. There's just a rumor from this person to this person to this person, from a manager, from a player, and they're just treating these like they're gold, these sources. They don't have to be verified. So I hate this because it's not real journalism. They're not using proper verification methods. That's why they're wrong so often. They don't know what they're talking about. That's the worst part. They don't know. You notice I'll often say, I heard, if it's just something I heard. If I know, then I know. That's why when I do my videos, I know, and you will see that I say as much, and nobody comes forwards to prove otherwise ever. Then how about this? Because we're having a trust that your sources are legit and real, you need to have credibility, which by definition you don't have if you're a nobody / you don't have an amazing track record. The reason why some of the names I referenced earlier are incredible is their track record's bonkers. That you struggle to even think like 3 times ever they were wrong in half a decade. Some of these guys, day after day after day, week after week, they're having to admit they were wrong or just come out, yeah, actually my source wasn't reliable. What the fuck are you talking about? Your source wasn't, you're not reliable then, because you're just trusting said source that you claim to be reliable. And you know why you don't have credibility? Because you're nobody. As I said, that reputation is what gives you the credibility. Your track record gives you the credibility. You don't just come in and then get handed the fucking credit. Oh, and also, as I referenced earlier, it's a massive tell to me psychologically that they never actually have a point when you call out them for bullshit methods or like obviously corruption, conflict of interest. No, they just attack you and be really shitty to you and send their little goonies after you and their Discord after you and say that everything you've done's a lie and everything you do was nonsense, you don't know anything about shit and you don't have any contracts. But you know what I do, motherfucker, and I've used those towards the end of this video to expose why you don't know anything about the scene. The rest of it will all be done as usual with the ammunition you provide out your stupid fucking mouths when you can't stop talking and bragging and saying stupid stuff and justifications and reasons and excuses. And in doing so, you will see, like them all, Frankie, GamerDoc, these motherfuckers tell on themselves on a daily basis. So let's just go through the tweets and let's just see what they've said, right? So obviously, as the thumbnail shows, I'm going to go straight away right at the head of the number one guy, right? Good old Briuk LEC Wooloo Seeger. Now, he wasn't called Briuk Seeger when I started seeing him appear around 2019, 2020, when he started to get big. He was just anonymous. He was called LEC Wooloo or Wooloo, and he was just a fucking sheep Pokemon avatar. About the least serious fucking approach he could take to being a source of credible information or as a journalist, right? But then what happened was, as the years went along, it wasn't just about building Twitter followers and clout, although you'll see that was a massive preoccupation and part of the cynical strategy this person used. But also, it was about eventually getting a job, getting some Skrilla, not the fake internet points that clout is that you can't use for anything, just for fucking idiots on the internet. But no, let's get a job, let's get some money, let's get some fucking salary from those VC people. Oh yeah, that's right, VC people paying money for something that'll never get a return, and people sort of go, sort of the whole problem of esports there, isn't it? But obviously this guy tried to go legit, so we had to find out that he had a name. He had a name, Briuk Seeger from Belgium, aka LEC Wooloo. He even, as well as having a job for Upcoming, by the way, he got paid some all right money for being a fucking nobody, I'll tell you right now. Then he got nominated for Esports Journalist of the Year in 2022, last year, that's right. He was one of the 10 names that could have been voted the best journalist in all of esports, like just League of Legends, all of esports. So like better than Richard Lewis, Kevin H, whoever's on that list, he could be voted better than them. My lord. Oh, that happened. So, let's get into this. He himself has said now that he does consider himself a journalist because of the job he had on Upcomer. Go watch this interview that YamatoCannon did with him, where he talks about all this. He told Yamato that now he doesn't, this is from like early 2023, now he doesn't share rumors and now, he does like do all the proper things. You'll find out that's not the case. I'd just say go watch the episode in general. If you can make it even 20 minutes into the, man, you've got a real patience, because this guy, all I'll say is this: if that was a police interrogation, just your instincts alone would tell you this guy's guilty. Like, he looks, it's not just that he's nervous to be on camera or talk to Yamato. He looks like he can't even structure his thoughts. He can't remember simple things about his career. He's so clearly full of shit and cagey, because actually Yamato's trying to ask some, even though in an abstract way, pointed questions about how do you do it and what's the approach and what happens when you start with nothing. And this guy can never just give you a straight answer. He's all over the fucking place. And he's so clearly worrying about how he's going to exactly explain what's going on and what the case is. Oh, by the way, he's another one of those guys who was fucking nobody. Johnny come lately, barely came around until a few years back. But then once they've done a few leaks, they think they're the king of the scene and know how all fucking journalism works. I mean, the joke is they think Jacob Wolf is OG. I don't think Jacob Wolf appeared on the scene, even himself as like a relative nobody, until I'd been in working, not in esports. I'd played games from the 90s, but not in esports. I was working in esports for I think 14 years when Jacob Wolf decided to pop his head up. Another fucking someone named after an animal who had a massive ego and at the time had some questionable reporting, but that was a long time ago. Fair play to the modern day Jacob Wolf to some degree. So let's get into it. What's great is later on, I've got to bang a story about Wooloo and a report he did about someone joining Excel, which you'll find out was bollocks, but amazingly comes true later, but he cannot have known that because it wasn't true when he reported it. And so as a result, he actually accidentally got one right. But that's interesting when you see how he frames wrong and right throughout his history. So let's start out with the first one here. This was from the 14th of November, 2019. So one of the first times he started to pop off. He goes, "Hello all. I'm getting a lot of followers suddenly. Ooh, okay. So I'm panicking a bit. Just know that on this account, I will share stuff that's pretty trustworthy to me. I won't be like this skeleton guy, sharing contradicting rumors left and right. Expect less info, but more solid." Now, this approach, you will see him repeat almost every 6 months to a year, especially at the end of each season. He'll explain about how, like, you know, now he's really taking it more seriously, and now he's leveling the standards up, and now there won't be any more mistakes, and now he's going to be a lot more careful about what info he puts out and how true it is, and triple check it, and all this stuff, right? Because it's really important as he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Notice he's obsessed with growth completely. Not with getting the story right and always being correct. No. And so he does this repeatedly. By the way, let's just take that bit of this apart. I will share stuff that's pretty trustworthy to me. Don't do that. Only share stuff that's trustworthy. Otherwise, by definition, if it's not trustworthy, not pretty, there's no pretty. It's either trustworthy or it isn't. Do you trust the person? If you do, stand by it. If they're wrong, then you were wrong to trust them and you are no longer a trustworthy person / good judge of character. If it isn't trustworthy in any context, then don't fucking publish it on the internet. Or if you do, don't pretend to be a journalist who isn't wrong or someone where other people can't know. But you can't know how I'm wrong, even though I actually am wrong and I know I am wrong on this stuff. But since you can't know how, which even though I can't know what you know, then, oh shit, you'd be get tortured in a fucking actual classmate about epistemology, you know, teleology of the world. You would have no fucking hope whatsoever. That's another thing. He uses words in a way where they can just mean whatever that he feels like they mean. Then, not only is he going to use stuff that's pretty trustworthy, massive red flag alarm bell already, but he won't be like some other guy. What? Some other guy just talking out their ass, putting out stuff that then they then themselves contradict and have to come out and say it's wrong. You're going to do that loads in the next few years, mate. That's what. Check out the running time of this video, guys. That's what he's doing for the rest of the fucking video, out of his own mouth having to say he's wrong. Then the whole thing, expect less info but more solid. No, the other way around. You get more and more info. You even admit you try to get it faster than everyone else out there, which is why you compromise the quality and whether it's actually true or something you know. And it isn't more solid, it's less solid. Now, yes, over the years, agents, players, managers, people in the scene, other journalists start to work with this guy, start to use him, start to trade info, because that's what it's all about. It's trade of information. And what sources, unless you're people like me and you know who, we just go straight to direct sources, find out for real what's going on, corroborate with more direct sources. Then we can come out and make a video and say, you don't know what you're talking about. Not I heard. No, you don't know what you're talking about. You are full of shit. Whereas you'll always be, I think I'm right. And then, I was wrong on this one. Sorry, I won't do it. And then the next time, and I'll let my school down and myself down and my grand down. But now I will be a better role model. No, I don't need to do that, mate. The best journalists of all time don't need to do that. And we definitely don't need to do it every fucking year. I'll tell you that much right now. So as you'll keep going, you'll see he doesn't know what a source is, what a fact is, what confirmed means, what knows means, what's going to happen. Right and wrong, just fucking words. This guy just moves in a shell game. So okay, here's another good one. Self-made is going to Fnatic. Did end up happening, right? Someone asks him basically like, what's going on? Was it from that source about the other stuff? He goes, other source, but I don't know how reliable yet. If you don't know how reliable it is, why you put it on the internet? The fact you put it on the internet, that didn't say, I've heard from an unreliable source that Self-Made's going to Fnatic. If you did that, by the way, wouldn't what you were saying be somewhat accurate? Is your perception of things? Oh, wait a second, though. That doesn't sound as sexy, though, does it? People won't make a tweet blow up. I've heard from an unreliable source. Oh, right, actually, it's not as interesting anymore. But if you take all that out and you just say Self-Made is going to Fnatic, oh, you know this. No, you don't, because you yourself admitted your source is unreliable. By the way, that continues right throughout the whole fucking history of this guy in esports doing journalism. By the way, before you nitpick and go, but he didn't say he's unreliable, thought, no, unless he knows he's reliable, then by definition, he might be unreliable, right? He cannot know because he himself agrees, I do not know how reliable. Well, then don't fucking publish it. Guess what? There's other people who might have the info, but they don't know if they can actually confirm it, so they haven't published it yet. Every dickhead could just go and take unreliable stuff and go, send tweet, and then later on go, I apologise, but thanks for all the free clout. You fucking goblin. Oh, let's keep going. How about this story, right? So same month. Okay. So the guy, wait a minute, the guy. So, okay, so the guy that told me about Excel, Youngbuck and Deadly says that Excel is considering Magic Felix as mid, but he's doubting it. Sorry for the delay. I had to finish my rant. Right. First of all, the idea, you're like, oh, sorry, I couldn't just tweet this rumour that's unconfirmed. I was playing a game of League of Legends, guys. Like, we don't give a fuck about that. That's irrelevant as to whether or not the information's right. Then that guy, a reliable source, right, Wooloo, right? Someone you know can be trusted and knows the story themselves directly, ideally, right? No. But because he had a couple of hits for you or interesting info before, you're now publishing it. At least I'll give you credit. At least on this one, you are publishing that essentially it's an unreliable guy in the main post. But even so, this should never be posted on the internet, in my opinion, by anyone approaching the field of journalism, unless they are just a TMZ muck-raking, rumour-fucking merchant, which you are, but you can't fucking just live up to it for some reason, or live down to it, as it were. So then the idea that Excel is considering Magic Felix, right? Are they signing him, or are they just thinking about it? So you've heard from a guy who told you other stuff, that Excel's thinking about signing a player, but even the guy who told you was doubting it. Right, hey, Wooloo, I've heard, you remember that other info I told you that some might be right, some might be wrong? Yeah, well, anyway, I've heard that they're thinking of doing it, but I don't think they are. Oh, shit, let me get to the internet. Oh, wait, I've just got to fucking, oh, that's it, Lulu blew up the X is right. Send tweet. Mate, you must think that everyone else is a bloody idiot, that we don't put us out. Where are you? Think we don't have the info? That's why we don't put tweets and videos out, isn't it? It's because this isn't fucking info, mate. This is hearsay. This is nothing. Even the person telling you, apparently he was doubting it. And by the way, before anyone goes, his second language is English though. First of all, as you'll see later on, don't fucking tweet in a language you can't speak precisely in, because everything in journalism is about the truth and precise context. So either get a fucking editor who can edit the language for you, or just tweet in your language, mate, and get it right or wrong in your language. Don't come into fucking my language and get it completely wrong, like a fucking dickhead. And then later, as he does 1 million times, try to blame phrase or the way it was told to you, or someone else miscommunicated. No, mate. You either know English or you don't. I don't come and tweet stuff in fucking French or Flemish or whatever. Do a bitch-made motherfucker. Right, let's go to the next one, shall we? So then, classic move they also do. They not only know everything they know in the scene, they know what you know and what you cannot know. And so as a result, they can say that you're wrong, even though they don't know your source or what info you got. So he goes, I'm surprised Loco Doco and Esports Maniacos got some stuff wrong already. From what I know, oh, that's it. So just from what you know. But you've just said that they got stuff wrong. Not that they might be wrong based on stuff you heard. No, they are wrong. Factual statement. From what I know, none of the rumours, they're even rumours. These aren't facts. These aren't things you know are as right or wrong. None of the rumours I've said, rumours you just said, not even checked, verified that you know, rumours I've said so far have been proven wrong. By the way, proven wrong in this moron's mind is the move just doesn't happen. First of all, it doesn't even prove it wrong. But in your case, it does, because you're guessing and going off semi-fugazi information, right? So as a result, if it happens, you think it proves you right. I'll show why that's not the case later. And if it doesn't, I have to take this one on the chin because I never knew in the first place anyway. Now it hasn't happened, so shit, better quickly take the L on this one so people don't get mad and notice I'm full of shit. Some might, but still, thanks for your trust. What am I trusting? You're just hearing stuff, mate. I wish I could reveal some new hype leaks, but there's legit nothing. Brilliant. So, got nothing out of that except that you think you know that they're wrong. Then we have this mega one here. So a guy on Reddit says he's just spreading rumours from others. He goes to this guy on Reddit saying, I'm just spreading rumours from others. Big lol. Rewind the video. Didn't he just say, like, he got stuff from a guy who was doubting it, that, like, he doesn't know how reliable a previous source is, that he's just hearing stuff other people have heard, and from what he's heard. Wait a minute, so you don't get rumours from others? You're implying there, by the way, you get all your information direct. That is not the case at all, by your own admission and words, as the rest of this video will continue to show. Then he calls the guy out directly by Reddit username. That used to be considered brigading, but okay. Wissakoy, if you see this, I will send you proof. It's the other way around. Are you actually implying you are going to send him proof that you don't get your info from second-hand sources / hearsay, or third-hand, fourth-hand, fifth-hand, sixth-hand? Instead, you get the joke is this motherfucker should be called 369 the journalist because his information is third hand, sixth hand, or ninth hand. Fucking straight fire. Now, what's insane is you're actually implying you'll show this guy evidence. You can never show evidence to anyone. Maybe your editor, that's it. Just to for him to allow you to publish the article. Even then, I'd say you'd have to have a very close relationship and trust that individual. The idea you'll show some random on Reddit, like, hey, look at this log here or something, and then that'll prove that you're not full of shit. Why? For clout / to not get flamed on Reddit by people who don't know what they're talking about. By the way, you can't be a journalist and be a dishonest person. It doesn't work because the foundation of it is about finding the truth, uncovering the truth, and telling the truth, not obscuring it with context and omission and skewing it. No. That's what it's about. That's why when you do journalism, it's about the truth. You can have your opinions and have them be whatever you want, but journalism is different. So, okay, he goes, I'm tweeting this because you guys should also make a difference between my leak tweets and my speculation tweets. My God, how would we tell the difference? Why doesn't he explain there what the difference is? So then some guy, it is the guy, comes and replies. He goes, my point was more like people shouldn't take your posts as 100% sure. The idea you could ever disagree with this is mental. When you later find out he, by his own track record, isn't 100% right. He goes, I feel like people start to think like you were telling them leaks with having good sources. Ooh. And I personally know that many of your leaks are just assumptions. Ooh. Someone else is starting to pick up on this track record because I know that some of them are false. I am not saying you are 100% wrong, but feel like people should see differences between you and media that actually got good sources. Great fucking point, Wissacoy. Then he goes, I started tweeting as if my leaks were 100% true. Oh, right, so you've already, right, at the very beginning, it's like the idea that, I don't have direct sources. Then the guy comes back at you. This guy always folds when you come at him, unless you're me, by the way. And then he just goes like, I started like I was 100% true. No, so you didn't know what you were talking about at the beginning, and you said everything like it was true, but it wasn't. So you've already established that you yourself were a liar and didn't explain the context of what you were doing, even though then you think that we should be able to see the difference between your leaks and your speculations. What the fuck's going on? But that was before I started having followers. Yeah, I'll bet it was, mate. After that, I became more careful. Well, we'll be the judge of that. I think everyone watching can be the judge of that in however long this video lasts. I thought my tweets made it clear when it was leak or a speculation. No, in fact, all you'd have to do, mate, is put like leak, square brackets, speculation, square brackets. But you don't do that because you actually, as another game, want to play a semantic game where you want all the credit for it being like a full-on report and definitely true. And then if you need to, you'll walk it back separately and say it was speculation or you heard it from someone or unreliable source. So you want to have your cake and eat it. You want to get all the credit for being the best and then later hide behind like, well, I didn't technically say it was, that was more of a speculation. You guys should know by now, like the way I did. No, we shouldn't, motherfucker. Be very precise about it. You're trying to reveal the truth to people about what is happening in the scene, not things you've heard. Or just admit that it's just things you heard and that some of it's going to be bullshit and that people are right to call you out and say, don't just believe this stuff. Take it with a massive grain of salt. No, you want it both ways, of course. And then, of course, there was this part. Nobody should take my info as 100% true, right? So basically, the guy's point originally was correct, right? Especially because teams got many options. No. What you're saying should be true, whether they choose a different player out of 2 or 3 they're going to sign between anyway. But you already see, always hides behind this notion. Many teams have some kind of ordered list of players they want to sign the 18th. Others are having tryouts. Well, then don't report it that they're signing the player then. If you know they haven't signed it, they've got a big list and they're doing tryouts, why are you saying they're signing players? Why are you saying a player's going there? What you mean is they have interest in that player, but that's not as sexy, is it? That's not the same banger tweet with 200k views, is it? That's not the same 2k likes tweet, is it? Because it kind of just tells people, like, I know a tiny bit, but I don't really know it all, and I definitely don't know for sure. It's that certainty, hence why credibility is important, that is so much of the currency of whether people care about what you say. That's why when I make videos talking about Excel, talking about EG, Team Liquid back when they had Jat, there's a reason why what I say hits like a fucking Mack truck, homie, because I have never lied in my professional esports career that now is over 22 years long in the tooth, homie. Then he goes, there is a big difference to make between a leak of a team considering X player and a leak of a team deciding X player is the one they want. Yeah, there is, but are you someone who's specific about which one it is? No, because I think you don't know, and you find out later after the fact that they were just trying that guy out, as we'll later see in the tweets. Leaks of the first scenario can never be proven wrong because it's not that a team doesn't sign X player that they're considering. Yes, that is absolutely what a legit journalist has to use as a real reason, but you get to hide behind as a scumbag who profits and traffics just potentially nonsense, just 3rd, 6th, 9th hand information, right? 369, the journalist, LEC 369. That's why I'm hesitating to post that kind of, well, my God, I don't think you are. If you see the tweets he does later, it just seems to me like he's got no safety on at all. He's got no fucking trigger discipline at all. Just fires the tweet off, then makes up after. He's even calling people to apologize for being absolutely categorically wrong about what he said about their careers and what's going to happen, despite saying it without a big speculation tag. He goes, It's easy to lose credibility with it. It's not for me. I don't lose credibility because of that. People might not like my personality. They might say I'm a fucked up politically or some mad shit like that. But I tell you what, they can't ever say I lied. They have no proof of it. It's not even something that's a rumour. You don't see it anywhere. There's no one linking to the, who's wrong here? It doesn't happen. So it's actually very easy if you actually have a real fucking set of ethics and understand journalistic safeguards and protocols to actually have credibility, because that's what those things ensure. You don't have any of those things. And so as a result, yeah, you don't have credibility. And it's a fleeting mirage that you're able to conjure up with smoke and mirrors for fools and other idiot Zoomers, but people who actually are in the scene know you're full of shit, and that's why they call you out. But it's also easy to make up, well, no shit. I think you've just nailed it right there. Yeah, it is easy to just make it up and pretend you have credibility, isn't it? Here's a good one. So in the same time period, he's reporting leaks and stuff like that. I'd like to apologise. This is only a few days after I began this. It was like 5 days or 4 days after I began with the tweets on here. I'd like to apologise for referring to Esports Maniacos as a person. He thought Esports Maniacos was the alias of someone. I know it's a show, and I know there are multiple people on the show. For some reason, I thought Esports Maniacos was also one of them. Oh, my ass. I'm like, this is embarrassing, mate. Maybe I should learn Spanish one day. Very nice country. Sorry to me. So you were watching a Spanish language talk show where they talked about rumoured moves. You assumed one of them is Esports Maniacos, even though that is the name of the fucking company and the entity that's making the show. So you don't know who any of these people are. And you're just watching. Earlier, you're just saying that they were wrong about stuff. Like, you're just watching and you think it's a person and you don't know Spanish. That'll be very relevant later on. Why the fuck are you ever reporting what they're saying in Spanish then, mate, if you don't know Spanish? Are you using fucking Babblefish or something? What's going on here? So then let's get to one of the first beautiful ones. Look, even the way this cunt talks about this. So his tweet on the 14th, day I began this tweet set of threads, right, goes, a contract from Denmark told me Sven is joining Excel. Just a contact. Then he goes, how dare you even take this approach, by the way? He goes, so I'm happy because tonight some of my rumours got confirmed. You already know they were all true, mate, so how did they get confirmed? However, this is the first one I got wrong, and I will not try to hide it. No, but you will spin it. It was the second time I talked to that contact, and I should have been more careful. I'm sorry if this rumour originated from me, right? First of all, that's mental. First part, it was the second time I talked to that contact, right? Can't know he's trustworthy then, yeah? He hasn't proven himself. I should have been more careful. You don't say in what way, though. You don't say I won't only talk to a contact twice. No, what you mean is I got caught, I fucked up. So next time, I hope that what I did is more careful. You haven't got any protocols in place. He does this multiple times more in his career, as you'll see. And then I'm sorry if this rumour originated from me. It can't originate from you, mate, because you have real sources. You don't just take things hearsay from other people. Remember that call out of the guy on Reddit? And you actually know what you're talking about. And that's why this is the first time you've ever been wrong, even though you yourself put it out there that maybe you even started the rumour because it was just bollocks and never had any basis in reality. I don't think that's cool. Let's keep going, shall we? 19th of November 2019. We're still in November, mate. As per Jacob Wolf, Misfits to sign Denick and Razork for their LEC team in 2020, which we know they did. Congrats to Esports Maniacos for figuring this out earlier. And I'm sorry I doubted it. Is he implying that this is one of the moves that Local Dork and Esports Maniacos said, that he said he knows is wrong from his people and that they've already gotten it wrong? So you didn't know what they know. Is that what we're... Or is this just a separate thing you've doubted and implied it's not right, even though then it happens? By the way, why the fuck do we care what you doubt? Either their info and their sources is right, which you can't know, but the idea, oh, I doubted it. Don't do that. That's the other thing. These people themselves are shady as fuck. So it's like a thief thinks everyone steals. They just assume everyone's working with shady ass sources and cutting corners and just like, I'll pretend I've got a second one from that. No, it's only the girlfriend of the manager, a friend of another team, but I'll just say like it's sources close to them. You're just doing that and you assume everyone else is. No, there's legit journalists in the space. I don't know that it's Esports Maniacos, but I don't speak Spanish. I wouldn't claim to know everything that they know, right? The next day, 20th of November, forget Don Arts for main team. Schalke are probably making Joko and Gilius compete for their jungle spot. Someone comments, I know they haven't decided, but do you have a source for your claim? So someone's essentially claimed that something's not the case about that. He goes, I know they haven't decided. Well, no, wait a second. What does that first part even mean? Schalke are probably making. You have a source that goes, by the way, we're probably doing something. Well, I know, well, just probably. I mean, I can't even say we are, but just probably doing it. And then someone else basically just says, well, that's not correct, isn't it? And you immediately back down. Do you have a source for what you're claiming? So if they have a source, it'll overwrite what you're saying. That's good enough. I'm interested. No, don't be interested. Be interested in getting it right in the first place, dickhead. DM if you prefer. So a fucking rando can just DM you. I think we're seeing where your sources are now. And remember, they only have to talk to you once or twice and you're going public with the information. I think we're starting to get a sense of how dog shit your fucking sources are. By the way, remember, you don't take info from other people who've heard stuff. You just go for direct sources, right? Here's a good one. You remember Promiscue? Watch him back down from this. So, thanks to all the people telling me about Misfits' Power of Evil, but it could also be a reunion on FlyQuest with Ignite. It did end up being. I have no idea. So he's basically said, thanks for everyone who gave me wrong information. That isn't what ends up happening. Could obviously have been something discussed. I have no idea where he's going. Okay. But there are multiple possibilities, even with that tweet. Then Jacob Wolf comes out and goes, FlyQuest are expecting to sign PoE in the coming days, blah, 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 with Ignite. And then this guy goes, no news about God Promiscue? Promiscue, he basically, as far as I can tell, this looks like a tweet by Wooloo, deleted. He said something Promiscue. I'm assuming that he signed with his team or he's retired or something. Promiscue himself just goes, no, I have not. That's all he says. Now, does this guy go, well, actually, that's not correct. I have the information. Look, you can say what you like publicly, but I've done my research. I know. No. He immediately backs down. He goes, I actually don't know what to say other than that I'm really sorry. No. I mean, how about just don't say these things in the future? Don't just say you're sorry afterwards and then do it again. I always tell people, if you're sorry, put that into action and don't do it in the future. That'll really show me that you're sorry and they'll be able to sincerely appreciate your earnest apology. Otherwise, it sounds like you think sorry is a magic undo button, but you get all the benefits and profits of having done the thing wrong in the first place. So I'm really sorry. I was actually spreading that rumor that came from esports maniacals, but there's no excuse, right? Wait a minute. You're just spreading someone else's rumor. Not even just another person behind the scenes who's a source. You're spreading a public rumor from esports maniacals who speak Spanish and you don't speak Spanish, and thought that literally a week ago that was one person, esports maniacals, some giant fucked up clown character just going in Spanish. Like, give me a fucking break. You're an absolute joke, mate. And then it goes here, I should not have said this as a fact. Wait a minute, you're telling us before, whenever you just comment like that, it's just speculation. It should be easy to tell. So what you said at the beginning, these were facts, right? And then Promiscue said, that's not what's happening at all. And then you just go, oh, sorry, actually, I had no way of knowing that was a fact. I was just lying and making it up, which you are admitting now you were lying and making it up. My apologies, won't make that mistake again. Spoiler, check the running time of the video, will make that mistake again. That wasn't the end, though. Hampus, a.k.a. Promiscue, for some reason, because, I mean, this is how fuckers are. Like, oh, well, you got it completely wrong with me, but good luck on the next one. As long as it's not about me, I'd love to see the rumours. Like, no worries, can't get them all right. You can if you Jacob Wolf or Rich Lewis, by the way. DK and CSGO. Can't get them all right, but just figured I'd say how it is. I don't deserve this answer. He also does this for humility, where he pretends he's really hurt by having made this mistake and he wants to make it up to people, and he knows he doesn't deserve their trust and their credibility again. But then, of course, he gets it all back and then makes the same greedy, fucked up, I would say, unprofessional errors again and again, and then insults people who don't have a fucked up track record like him. So he goes, if I want to do this, I have to be more careful. Doesn't put that in action, by the way. I really hope you find a team. You're really underrated. So I was just kissing the guys out. Fucking Promiscue as well. This is in 2019. Promiscue in like 2021 or 2022 was all right. In 2019, he was a bomb. I hope you're really underrated from both the teams and the community. I mean, you're helping fucking fuck his career up, you moron. Good luck. Yeah, he'll need fucking luck with people like you just playing Russian roulette with the facts. Holy shit. Are you kidding me? 25th of November, we're still in 2019. Also, I've heard twice a same info from insider. Wait a minute, you're supposed to be the insider. What do you mean from insiders? And holy shit, if it's true, it's insane. But no direct sources is willing to answer a question for confirmation for that. This fucking sentence is a nightmare, mate. Do you actually understand English? I really question if you can actually read and listen to English. Speak it and write it. I know that's fucking barely the case. And by the way, before you do it in Belgium, I'm not doing a video where I made loads of insane claims in Belgian and then pretended after the fact, like, oh, but my French is not that great, or I misspoke, or I don't have to do that because I'm speaking the language I do fucking know, aren't I? And then he goes, I can't spread that rumour if it's not 100% true. You've done it plenty of other times, mate, because it's really impressive. It's not a roster swap. Then the guy goes, not a roster swap. Is it cap/perks flexing between mid and AD? That is in fact what they did in 2020, remember. That would be interesting to say the least. He then goes, I will not answer to detailed guesses like this because I could deny them all and then I'm fucked if someone asks the real thing. Sorry. Doesn't stop you tweeting things that aren't real and that you don't know are correct. This is where it gets mental, because this just shows how fucked in the head this guy is. At the end of the year, he started this trend where he'd brag about how many things he got right. So he goes, important. Literally puts important in his tweet. How trustworthy am I? As though you'd be anyone who'd be in a position to comment on that. Rating my off-season. How should I handle next off-season? Please help me. Well, the fact you're asking random fans to help you and tell you what to do and how trustworthy you are tells me you're not very trustworthy, don't know about journalism and aren't going to go down a good path. I don't care what fans think I should do or what a top journalist should do. They should follow their own code of ethics, professional standards and principles and maybe use real sources and know what they're talking about. That's what I'd say they should do. Here is every leak I did, and if they turned out to be right or wrong. I got 11 out of 15 right, which makes me 78% trustworthy. No, that's not the case. Because on the ones you were wrong, you were absolutely wrong. That means in 78% of cases, the move ended up happening. Now, whether you were actually right or wrong, we can't know because we don't know your sources. But as I'll get to later, I suspect you don't really know on some of those. So that's not really 11 out of 15. Some of those are guesses. Please read the following tweet. And then he makes a shot that I'll show you in a second where he shows some of the moves. And just get ready for this. Then he goes, this is obviously not enough. Oh, right. Is being right 78% of the time, less than 4 out of 5 times. Not good enough, is it not, Wooloo? Because that's weird, because I think for a single fucking off-season, you should be 99% or 100% right in what you know is going on, whether the moves happen or not. Is that too high a standard to ask? Then you're a TMZ muckraking scumbag journalist who just puts out information that you can't confirm, and be that guy. Live with being that guy. Don't pretend when you're TMZ that you are the Times of London. You aren't, sir, and you do not have their credibility, justifiably and correctly so. That's what correct and right and wrong are all about, not your fucking random labels you put like it was an Instagram story. Correct, right, 100%. You're ridiculous. This is obviously not enough, and I am sorry for my mistakes. You're not, because you never change your actions. You keep repeating the same mistakes, even though people's careers are in play at this point in time. Next off-season, I will try to reach 85 to 90% correct rumours. He's not even going for 100%, guys. With a whole year to go, he's not, by next season, going to be just only publishing information he knows is correct, whether it happens or not. This doesn't include all the guesses and speculations I've made around rosters. Right, so when he just guessed, but you couldn't tell and he got it wrong, that doesn't even get counted on his fucking sheet. So he gets to have that all day long and make free clout and engagement off that. And you'll never know if that was a leak or speculation. Doesn't put it always in the title in this era. So he just gets to profit either way and remove his errors when he was totally wrong and talking out of his arse or thinking someone else's rumour that he didn't label as their rumour immediately. Where Jacob basically revealed almost everything. How does Jacob Wolf get almost everything, but you're stuck at 78%? You ever ask yourself that? Oh, don't worry. He's so shit, he asks Jacob Wolf publicly that later on. So same one. This is about reaching, remember. What I would like to know, guys, is if for the next off-season you want more tweets of guesses and interests, like X team is interested in Y player, or do you only want leaks of actual signings? So more content with less tweets turning out to be true, or only trustworthy content? Well, you just said earlier you're going to make the percentage higher, but now you're also, for engagement, you got fuck all this tweet, asking fans, which should I do? Should I just stick with making stuff up, publishing stuff I don't know is true, other people's rumours, just guesses, speculations? Should I publish those as though that was also part of stuff I'm hearing? Or should I actually, like I've just said I will, try and get the accuracy a lot higher and try and get it like Jacob Wolf who knows everything? Which do you think? Should I be more or less trustworthy? He's actually posting this on the internet. Then he goes, I come to say, even the numbers are fucking fugazi. I come to 78% from 11 out of 15 true rumours. I count vitality, schemes and comp as 2 different ones. So sometimes he'll count like multiple moves and then he'll have like, but if I separate it out, they are multiple correct ones though. So I have essentially fucking finessed the numbers to get it up to 78%. That's not even what it actually is if you look how many actual moves I've done. Mate, just do the moves that you did. You don't have to fuck with the numbers. Another one. Evil Jacob Wolf. That's weird. Evil Jacob Wolf posting a link So it's a parody account, shitter one. You know how they're always run by dickheads in the scene who themselves aren't that big. Why would Evil Jacob Wolf be linking to the Shoutcaster? The Shoutcaster, you remember that one? Do you remember that German guy who was involved as a journalist for that one? I wonder if he runs Equal Jacob Wolf and that's his way of getting back at other people behind a hidden name, someone else's name as a journalist, and being a dickhead. Weird how that works, isn't it? There was a certain someone reporting on Fanatic Selfmade 9 days before you, so he was taking credit for that, we'll remember. Definitely from reliable sources and not a guest job, as we've now found out this guy did. And then he just goes, I am very sorry, I didn't know about that. So he hasn't Googled it, he hasn't searched Twitter, he just got some info, not even reliable, he can't know how reliable, published it, and then he thinks he's got it right. I'm the first one, and it was already on a website from a real source and did end up happening way earlier. This is fucking embarrassing, mate. This is in December at this point in time. Now let's look at the document. All I'll do is make it cover my face for a moment. Oh, write all the jokes you want. So there we go. Self-made to Fanatic tweeted. That was true. By the way, why do you get credit for that one when 9 days earlier it was already done? So take that one off immediately. Keep going. Young Buck to Excel, yeah. Big signings to it. So just big signings. There'll be big signings going to Excel. About the most tenuous fucking subjective language ever that you could just use in any context. Let's keep going down. He counts in here as two separate ones. Skeens and Comp, that's all one thing, tweeted on the 13th. So why do they get an account separately, mate? Because you wanted to boost your numbers. Keep going down. You do notice, he is right, there's fuck all Spanish here, isn't there? He really doesn't know anything about the Spanish scene, which you have to know quite a lot about if you're going to do roster moves in fucking LEC. Then at the bottom, I love this part. The following rumours aren't included because they can never be proven wrong. Well, no, you were either right or you weren't. If you're right, then include them as being right, whether the move happened. Because if a team has interest in it, doesn't end up signing the player they were interested in, it doesn't mean they were never interested. So then we just have to have Cloud9 interested in Promiscue. Was that not what Promiscue was maybe talking about earlier, mate? Okay. Schalke interested in these guys. Fnatic interested in a Roma, but they can never be proven right or wrong. That's why he's tweeting them on the internet to get clout from them, but they can never be right or wrong. What the fuck are we doing here, guys? What are we even saying? Oh, remember what he said earlier about the Spanish? Here's a good one. None of my reliable sources is close to the Spanish scene. I'm sorry. He doesn't have a reliable source in the Spanish scene. Okay. So then you go down here. Thank you for answering. He goes, the info I got for Mad and Giants was only from Esports Maniacos. Bros, your Twitter account, you just fucking posting other people's work without even vetting it or knowing of corroborating it's right. Who are you, fucking Jake Lucky or Slasher? There's already scumbag parasites that just take other people's shit, chew it up, turn it into even less nutritious shit and put it on their Twitter so they get the clicks and engagement and clout and everyone sees it on theirs and thinks the news came from them. But it's only later that you then explain, oh, it wasn't even in my room, it was from someone else. I just copy what they said, press hit send without even knowing if it's right or not. But that doesn't count for when I'm wrong, because I just said that they said it and then I was wrong, but I didn't say that they said it. I just said it was happening. But when it turned out to be wrong, then I said that they said it. So that doesn't count as me being wrong on my Twitter account. And I am a journalist and doing real work and professional. And I talked to Jacob Wolf one time. You fucking clown. You absolute clown. They are better leakers than me. Well, I mean, you're showing that so far. And are Spanish. Oh, so they'd maybe know about their own fucking scene. So yes, I have no chance against them for SLO. Haha. But it does seem like the best players out of LEC aren't in Spain. Doesn't matter what it seems, mate. Do journalism. On the 6th of May, 2020, he says, I will take the bullet for sharing this. I've been told this for so long, and now one more reliable source is confirming it to me. This motherfucker does not know what these words mean in English, or he's an abject liar. I have no proof. You don't have to believe me. Look, it's one thing if you can't provide proof. You must have proof to know this, because you literally have been told it and now a reliable source confirmed it. There must be proof out there somewhere, right? You don't have to believe me. And I know scrim results mean nothing. I know. LDLC had a positive win rate in scrims versus FPX in 2019. So FPX, LPL champions, they had the MVP of the spring split, which was Doinby. They won Worlds. They beat G2 in the finals, remember. LDLC, ERL team from the LFL, privately was practicing with them, we're supposed to believe, and had a positive win rate in scrims against them. So, okay, problem now is you're going to notice some blue check marks come out, don't they, boys? Now, look, players can lie, but if they're lying, why are you backing down? So it implies you don't know. So Nicolas Perez tags someone in. So he then tags in Iker, who played in LDLC, if people don't know. Iker just straight up says, that is not true. We scrimmed them, yes, but we did not have a positive win rate against them. Now, does he say it? Well, I actually have I have more than one reliable source that says it's true. And so, actually, I've been told this now for so long. He just goes, sorry, and thanks for correcting it. Doesn't delete the original tweet. Doesn't put out an actual proper tweet like, this is absolutely incorrect what I've done. And he, at least as far as I can tell, a total retraction. I was wrong. I was talking out my arse. I did not have reliable sources. This is in 2020. He still has unreliable sources, guys, that he thinks he knows things from. And he's just talking out of his arse, apparently, based on him backing down. I don't even know whether that's true or not, but why is he backing down if just a player says it publicly? Here's a good one about his sources. 14th of May. Just got a DM after my tweets from a source that had one rumour wrong and one rumour right, that SK will sign Tinks. If the source read this, I'm sorry for doubting you, but to my followers, take it really with a grain of salt. What a mental fucking tweet I'm going to unpack now. So he just got a DM after his tweets, right? From a source that he already knows was wrong in the past. But to him, you right once, you was wrong. Ah, coin flip. I'll flip the coin again. Nah, don't flip a coin. Know if it's right and corroborate it. SK will sign Tinks. Well, you know what? Tinks did play an SK gaming, right? If the source is reading this, though, no, you don't need to do that. DM him, whatever you want to say to him. But if the source is reading this, I'm sorry for doubting you, even though I'm myself saying you get it wrong. So I should be doubting you. Already, you can see what a fucked up political game player this guy is. He just says whatever is politically expedient to get himself more of whatever he wants. But to my followers, even though you just saw me say that guy has gotten it wrong and I doubted him, take this with a grain of salt. Hey, guy who told me this, who I know has been wrong in the past, I actually doubted whether you were right. I'm sorry about that. But also, if you're listening and you're not that guy, this might just not be true. I am Wooloo. Send tweet. Can I please have engagement and maybe a job and a trophy now? How do I get what Jacob Wolf has gotten? How about doing work like he did and sitting on stories where you can't prove they're actually correct? More apologies by any chance? So, okay. Good old Wooloo makes a post. Deleted now, of course. I wonder if these all counting when he gets wrong. And out comes Spale and says, you were right, bro. And then Ryu goes, he found out before me. Best leaker in the game. So there's a move that this guy isn't going to happen, is the joke, is saying. So then out comes Wooloo. Oops, my bad. He always immediately walks it back because he knows he doesn't have legit sources. Not sure why 3 out of 4 people from EBL scene told me you were back. Right. So 3 out of 4 people, as in there's only 4 sources that you have for this, and 3 of them told you something, but the other one didn't. What even is the implication there, right? So one person didn't say this, but you just ignored that anyway and thought, nothing there, I'll check the 3. Also, your sources are fucking dog shit. But how do you make up for it? I'm going to retweet your post to try to make up for it. I'm really sorry. Mate, this guy apologizes more than that fucking guy in the fucking, what was it, like the BP oil spill apology video that South Park made back in the day. It's just constantly instant back down, instant retraction, but doesn't do it by a proper means. And then sometimes he just deletes the post and then just goes to, I'm really sorry. Sorry is not a magic word that undoes the wishes you did with your Twitter demon genie, you fucking cretin. Let's see, does he get any more wrong? May 24th, guys. The last one was May 21st. So May 24th, Spain. Right, we already know you don't speak Spanish, mate. I know eSports Maniacos said Kadir will be Team Queso's jungler, but it's also confirmed at 99% by my sources. There's no 99%. It's either confirmed or it isn't. There's no 99. Every confirmed should be 100%. There's no 99%. It doesn't work. There's no probability that works that way, that maybe you are totally right, 99%, but then in 1% chance you're just totally wrong. No, you're right or you're wrong. This means my rumour, are you ready? His rumour. My rumour about Davis as jungler was wrong. And it seems he may just have played a tryout. Repost for the mistake. Right, first of all, eSports Maniaco has scooped you again. They are right again in a way you aren't, apparently. And then you're going to confirm their sources that you don't know and cannot know. And you're obviously sure you don't know when things are confirmed or not. Then you had a rumour that Davis was joined as jungler. And it seems he may just have played. No, you don't even know now whether he actually did just play a tryout. You don't know now why they did or didn't consider him. So you were reporting that a guy's joining as a jungler when apparently he might have just had a tryout. We don't even know. What's going on? Let's blame everyone else though. M&M mid laner could be Poulsen, not Bendix. My bad, if that's the case. No, there's no if that's the case. Remember, it doesn't say against speculation, it's just rumoured. Bendix is rumoured to join M&M, and then this other guy joined Tricked. Someone replies to him. He goes, yes, I think about it all the time. I'm sorry about that mistake. Someone called that a past error, I'm assuming. Sometimes I'm getting communicated things in a misleading way. Yeah, that's why you don't go off one or two sources and just trust sources, no matter who they are, with infinite credibility. You verify everything. By the way, the better the source and the better what they told you, the more you need to verify it. So it's definitely right and you've got bona fide information. This idea that it's their fault. No. Whether they are misleading with how they communicate with you is irrelevant. That happens all the time. I have agents, fucking pro players, people from the scene come and tell me info, sometimes clearly hoping I'll tweet or mention it. And then it could just be for their own reasons. They might be lying, misleading me, not telling me the whole story, leaving out a detail. It might not even be true in the first place. It might be to push a negotiation one way or another, or to make you think ill of someone else. You don't go out with that information. You don't do it. It doesn't matter that they're being misleading to me. It's my job to verify the information and to know what I'm talking about. You don't get to blame them. They're not the ones putting it publicly on the internet, dickhead. And then down here, someone else says something else. He goes, yes, for sure. I have some responsibility. No, you have all the responsibility. You're the one who hit send tweet. It's your account. It represents you, who at the time was just a sheep, but eventually was Briuk Sega, a Belgian man, right? Well, debatably. But I also hope players don't take my rumours for granted. He doesn't even know what for granted means, by the way. So you've already said earlier that you have direct sources, that you know what you're talking about. 78% of the time you're right. You're going to get that up to 90%. You're learning from the greats. But you also don't want people who actually matter to see your info and think, that could be correct. He probably knows what he's talking about. That sort of gives away the whole game, doesn't it, homie? That sort of really tells us who and what you're up to. Here's another one. 24th of May. Personally, I had this problem last off-season. Now that I write the word rumour is every tweet, I have so much less people taking what I write for granted. Team builders I talked to didn't write off a player because of a rumour of mine. Oh, he now knows everything about what they all did. More like you talked to a few and they just told you. They're probably people who leaked to you also to push certain things. They probably just told you, it's all right, mate. Nothing happened with me. Actually having rumours wrong, sadly, helps that people don't take what I say for granted. Right. So the fact this guy isn't very good at his job and doesn't check things and doesn't have reliable sources that he knows are reliable and trustworthy is a good thing, because it means other people might learn a pattern of behavior that he's not knowing what he's talking about, and he is wrong in many occasions, so they won't listen to him. Well, I think it's pretty disingenuous that you're putting the info out there and then arguing with people about how trustworthy you are and what your sources are and what other journalists do or don't know, isn't it? You're not just being TMZ. You're trying to pretend you're the Times at the same time. Here's one. 4th of June 2020. Schalke Jack Troll. Apparently, this screenshot is taken from a video Jack Troll deleted. Vitality officially announced Jack Troll, and esports maniacals and me had solid rumours Schalke would make no changes. Something unexpected happened, if true. If a source has any info, please DM me, just any fucking rando. This is so weird. In my opinion, Dreams is top 5 support EU and he is still in Europe. Okay, so he goes on, I'm very skeptical and hope I can find more. I hope I can find more info. Just do or don't. You have a source network, right? What do you mean you hope that any rando can contact you? Keeps going though. I don't see a world where Schalke is like, we should bench Dreams and sign Jack Troll. This is either fake/troll or yeah, something unexpected happened. Sorry for repeating myself. No, it's not fake/troll. You either know it's fake or it isn't. What's this troll part? Then here's where it gets good. He does in 2020, midway through the season, a twit longer about how things have been going since that post he did with all the right and wrong. So let's read some of it, shall we? Why I started sharing rumours. When I started this account, I had exactly 3 contacts that work in League Esports, right? So you start an account, you only had 3 contacts, and that's where all your rumours came from. And he began in 2019. It's actually 2 years ago that I started to hear some rumours from them. Like most of you, I was super excited every off-season and would F5 Reddit waiting for Jacob Wolf rumours.
But sometimes I would hear about some crazy roster swaps beforehand, like I knew last year that Nemesis would have, Fnatic would have Nemesis, or that Splice would have Humanoid. What do you mean you knew? You've already said things you thought you knew from multiple reliable sources that didn't turn out to at all be true, and maybe the person did a tryout. You are full of shit. You don't know the things you say you know. But I had no way to share it, XD. So you made a Twitter account, started sharing all the fucking ridiculous shit, didn't you? It happened a lot during the 2019 to 2020 off-season, and I wanted to share some rumours I was excited about. I just created this Twitter account and tweeted a ton of LEC roster swaps I heard about. 3 days later, I reconnected to this account and noticed I had 400 followers. The whole game is being given away now, guys. Not that he had more sources so he knew he could be more legit. No, he had 400 followers, so time to pump those rookie numbers up, right? Apparently, 2 of my rumours got confirmed. Your rumours can't be confirmed because you don't have real sources. Do you think his 3 sources were like fucking Caps, Dylan Falco, this is when they're in different teams, and Peter Dunn? Do you think those were his 3 sources? Give me a fucking break. There are other randos like this cunt in the scene. He didn't have a Twitter account and he had no followers at the time, but he has banger sources that he knows move. No, that means you guessed and heard a rumour and it happened to happen. You didn't know ever whether that was the case or not. Then it goes, XL Youngbuck was one of them, if I remember well. He's dined out on that XL Youngbuck one forever, by the way. He's been wrong about XL plenty of times after that. After that, a ton of people came to me and started telling me rumours. It just snowballed. Now, he doesn't just go, most of them were full of shit. I learned journalistic protocols and I was able to get real info. No. Some of the names in the scene that actually tell me stuff would surprise a ton of you. It's actually insane. Oh no, I know that there are liars behind the scenes who will use a cretin porn like you to publish information publicly that they wouldn't want to publish on their account, or that if they tell to a legit journalist, the journalist goes, that is information that cannot be corroborated. Please do not feed me wrong information. I will not be publishing that. I'm going to ignore you now. Oh no, they came to any asshole with a megaphone and started feeding you info. That's insane, bro. No, you're their shield of fucking accountability. We never get to know that they're full of shit liars. And I'm very thankful to all of them. What about the ones that aren't telling the truth? What about the ones that end up being wrong, unreliable sort? You're thankful for them for being wrong and letting you publish wrong info, you fucking daft cunt. But I never tell who my sources are. Not to the public. No, don't tell to anyone. Not to other sources. Why would you need to say that part? Not to it. You just don't tell anyone who they are. It's the thing I'm the most careful about. No, what you do is you just say, a reliable source proved to be unreliable, has got it wrong in the past, but I won't say who he is. There's no accountability there. You shouldn't say who it is. But I'll just continue using him because since I haven't had to say who it is, I can just keep using him again and again. And now, you know what? Well, he did get one right last time. You've now got 2 wrong. I bet the same fucking logic works in this moron's head. Let's keep going. My thoughts on problems with rumours. I'm often asked if I'm aware of the risks rumours can create. And yes, I am very aware. I'll be the judge of that. Some players can lose some opportunities if people building rosters think they have a team. Wait a minute. You said earlier that never happened, that you'd been told by team builders that's never happened because of one of your... But now you're allowing for the possibility. Weird. I'm not going to lie. You do lie many times. And in fact, you lie as an act of habit. If you take my rumours for granted, it's always about granted. That fucking word is magical to this cunt. As a person with a position in esports, it's not really a smart thing to do. What, believe you? Yeah, I get it. Listen, fans out there, it's not a smart thing to believe Wooloo or that he knows what he's talking about. Okay, you've done my own work for me, right? And please don't do it. Please don't believe that what he says can be taken for granted. But, well, wait a minute. You're just saying any old chat that no one should believe. But I still have some responsibility because the player missing an opportunity did nothing wrong. Who did do something wrong, Wooloo? You. Oh, no, you think it's your sources miscommunicating. No, it's you. You did something wrong by putting the info out there without knowing if it was real or not. It's because of this issue that I always say in my tweets that what I share is a rumour. You don't always say that. Even when someone I know, sometimes I know for a fact it's true. Right? That's mental, because to know for a fact it's true, you'd have had to corroborate it, in which case it's not just a rumour. So why are you reporting it as a rumour? This guy, the words don't mean anything to this guy. He just keeps changing what the words fact, rumour, confirmed, reliable source, no. It's just right and wrong. The most basic fucking English language words don't mean anything to this guy. C'est vrai? Oh no. Give me a fucking break. Throw us a bone, mate. You're not doing anything. You're just lawyering your way out of this, rizzle-dizzling, moonwalking your way out of all the times you painted yourself in the corner and going, I don't have paint on my feet. And you just walked fucking black paint right all across the house, shitting everything up. Then he goes here.
I will do my best, always fucking promising, but I really hope that people don't take my tweets as facts, but as rumours. If you have any idea how to help solve that problem, please share your ideas. Right, he's not going to go and learn journalism and take a course and find out how... He wants you, the viewer, to educate him on how he can do his job properly without being full of shit. I can try to only post rumours I'm 100% sure of. You keep saying that, but you never do. But it doesn't fix the problem. It would. Because if you were 100% sure of them, it would fix this problem immediately. A ton of roster swaps that may seem to be wrong at the end of the offseason were actually true, but didn't happen. In that case, they're not wrong. So why are you bringing this up as a defence 1 million times over? Because of the plausible deniability, isn't it? Like Mad Lions Academy really wanted Royal initially. SK really considered Tinks. Ex-Canthos really was supposed to be an LVP. But I keep a balance on this kind of stuff because I don't tweet if I consider the risk of the roster not happening too high. Ooh, that might be interesting for later on with the all Excel move I'm going to talk about. For example, Crazy, the new EBL org with money, initially was supposed to have Sacre. So what I mean is some moves are happening, even with a contract or verbal agreement. But for some reason, the moves don't happen, right? So they have contracts and the moves don't happen. Ooh, you're seeing contracts because you're implying that there are contracts and the move doesn't happen. Sounds like bullshit to me. It sounds like there were only ever verbal agreements or they were interested in it, didn't end up happening. But hey, that's just me, right? Then he goes, when you just see the result, you can think that the rumour was wrong, but it wasn't. But it's just a rumour though, mate, so it can't be wrong or right. Just a rumour. You didn't confirm it. I will always have stuff that can make players lose opportunities, even if I post rumours I'm 100% sure of. We'll find out later with CL, but maybe she has fucked someone over in this just most recent off-season. In the end, I'm scared that if I become too credible, right, that's nothing you need to ever be scared about, mate. It'll never happen, as you'll find out if you watch the rest of this video. Too many people start taking my tweets seriously, which can lead to lost opportunities. No, if you were too credible, what you were saying would be right, and therefore they wouldn't lose opportunities. This is the most nonsense defense I've ever seen. So I am wondering, isn't it worth it to tweet rumors I'm not sure of in order to not be seen as a reliable source of info? Winky smiley face with a laughing emoji. No, it isn't justifiable or a good thing that you are tweeting potential bullshit so that then people learn you might be a bullshitter and don't believe what you're saying, even though you also say you know what you're doing, that these are real things. Fucking hell. It must be a nightmare to be in this guy's head. He doesn't even have the joke is his relationship with the truth must have just walked out and told him it was getting cigarettes when he was 4 years old and he's waiting for it to come back. And in the meantime, he's got all these stepdad fucking reliable sources that are just feeding him bullshit. And then a guy called Esports Maniacos just skywrites something in Spanish and he goes, what's that? Oh, I think he says he's joining that team. Like, give me a fucking break, mate. This is mental. Like, what's the difference? Let's find out, shall we? What's the difference between me and a random Redditor saying Faker is joining Team Liquid? Yeah, I agree. What is the difference, right? They also could have heard some bullshit and just repeat it. And they also don't get punished for doing so, right? Oh, wait, that's right. Because you always brag about how many times you are right and how rarely you're wrong, and the first time you're wrong, people do think you know what you're talking about, so they wouldn't trust you like a random Redditor. So even you should know there's a clear distinction to be made there, right? It's how reliable we are. Yeah, that's right. And it's because I do have stuff right that it became a problem. So it's the fact that remember, for all you fans, but he does get some stuff. Yeah, he even agrees that's the problem. Because him sometimes getting it right means you might believe all the other shite he's spewing and putting out there that isn't even his info. And he even knows that's a bad thing. And he's sorry for it and he's going to be better. Even though, is he? Let's see. So maybe I should keep spreading just rumours. Yeah, I like the way you managed to get to that conclusion at the end. Not the thing you said the previous year, but trying to get to be mostly right. And then he goes, not sure, and I'd like to hear opinions about it. Like, still focus grouping with his audience. Apparently, anything he says is irrelevant if you deny it as a fan. I think you shouldn't do that. Oh, okay, I'll just do what you guys say. I actually asked after last off-season if my followers prefer only legit leaks or any kind of solid rumour. Was it rumour or is it solid? The answer was the second option. But then now you're asking again. But now I want to know what's better with the risks it represents. Right? Why would the fan say no? To the fan, any of them that are right or even potentially right or even an exciting idea, they gain something from that. They consider that value. They're not going to say no. It's like when some bozo goes, would anyone have interest in me doing a series about this? Even if they don't, they're going to go, yeah.
Because what do they lose? It's free. They may as well make you like a dickhead go and do it whether they're going to watch it or not. And then he goes, P.S. I know about the story some years ago where apparently Odoamne lost offers because of a rumour. What do you mean apparently? You can't even track down a thing that's on record that you can even go and ask Odoamne if you had real source. But apparently he lost it because of a rumour. The thing is, the person that's responsible for it actually wrote an article announcing it as if it was official and definitive. My God, imagine if you did that at any point in time, Wooloo. It wasn't spread as a rumour. It was spread like a real leak. So now, the difference between facts and leaks and rumours, it's a night. I speak the language and it's a nightmare trying to understand what this guy's saying. It doesn't end there though. Why do I think rumours are good? Because they benefit you. As someone who lives that passion, I can tell you it creates a ton of excitement and hype. Yet some of it might just be lies though. Is a lie that creates excitement and hype good? I'd say no, because I'm a moral person. It creates a ton of discussion. Oh, now you might be wrong, but it's creating discussion. I was just starting a conversation, guys. I've heard that one before. Potential roster moves hype the fans a lot. They make the esports community live during the off-season, discuss it. Discovering what rosters are built and discussing potential roster swaps is actually super interesting fun. Yeah, we can do all that without you spewing a bunch of bullshit, though, and being wrong. We don't need you for that. He's now like taking credit for the entire off-season discussion that exists. What are you doing? When you hear about a rumour, like perks and caps role swap, it hypes you up. You start discussing what it would mean. But you're not sure if it's true. Well, not if you report it. I don't think it ruins official announcements. It definitely does. People even go, I already knew about this, even though they didn't, because some bozo who also didn't know told them and made them think that he knew. Because the biggest moment is when the rumour you've heard and discussed is actually confirmed. Now, I get to confirm rumours myself before I publish them. That's one of the things about me. Or I just say I heard it's purely a rumour, right? In the end, all this interest in teams is what creates viewership. Now he's actually indirectly creating the viewership of League of Legends. Just publishing shite that he heard from unreliable sources that he even knows is unreliable or doesn't know how reliable they are. You want to see how the new rosters will work out, and I believe it's also why early split has more viewers than the end of the split. Couldn't be like summer or any of that shit, right? It has to be about you hyping everyone in the off-season. Okay, there are other factors, like standings are unknown yet, and you missed LEC for too long. But still, it's mainly me, though. At the end of the day, me. Just me. In fact, I call myself LEC Wooloo because I am the LEC. Give me a fucking break. In sports, or even around League, in the LCK and LPL, some people are literally paid to discuss or tell roster swap. Not you. Sometimes even talking about scrims, yeah? And they make it clear that they're just telling stories. It's legit the biggest content you can get enough. Also, you're doing it now because it's the biggest content. You've disingenuously asked your fans, should you do rumours? But you admit it's the biggest content. So I think I know why you're doing it now. To gain followers, get clout. You hear things. That's why you made an account. And you also want all the popularity and engagement that comes with tweeting it. Because it's the biggest story that gets all the viewership and hype, right? It's also why I do rumours about smaller ERLs. I like to create interest in them since I'm an EU fan, and it's always fun to know about players there and see them join LEC one day. Also makes it easier to get the rumour when they join LEC. Stupid emoji again. Well, except you can't verify your sources. I actually considered deleting this account. Well, I don't know that you did. I don't really believe you did personally based on what you've done with the account and how utterly shameless you have been with that account. But yeah, let's believe that you were just going to delete it for no reason. Anonymous guy at this point in time and just lose all that clout. Yeah, I don't think so somehow. You even say people are spamming your DMs with all the fucking info, but you're going to delete the account. Cry me a fucking river. I don't believe you won't for 1 second. Oh, boo-hoo, I thought about deleting my fucked up leaker account, but instead I stayed in the game and just reported a bunch more wrong stuff. Great, brilliant. But if I'm more careful, it's always about being... You're going to be more careful tomorrow, right? Because tomorrow never comes. It's always today. That's the fucking joke in it. But if I'm more careful, and since I now have the belief that rumours can be good, I've decided that I'll continue, right? He's going to be more careful, but he's also just said, because they're massive, he's going to tweet more rumours so that people can't take what he says as being true. But that's good. And he's going to get better and be more careful, but he's also, by definition, going to be less careful by tweeting more rumours and things that might not be true. So I thank you all once again and see you next off-season. Your fluffy sheep spreading rumours. LEC Wooloo. Now here's how you know this guy doesn't know basic journalistic methods. Jacob Wolf does a few questions a bit early, August 25th, 2020. But I'm brainstorming a few content ideas for the free agency period of League of Legends, because he obviously used to do the Wolf Bombs, didn't he? For before our show, the off-season show. I want to do most impactful moves in League of Legends history. One idea I had was the formation of LMQ. That was the all-Chinese team that played in Season 4 summer of the NALCS and went to Worlds. What type of insidery stuff interests you? Get ready for what Wooloo says here. Some ideas that only you could do and that I think would be interesting. 1, top 5 roster swaps that never happened. 2, how did you get information about roster swaps and why are you never wrong? So only Jacob Wolf is capable of never being wrong about his roster moves. 1, that's nonsense. The best journalists can say that, by the way. There's a few of them, but the best ones can say it. Secondly, the fact you can't even conceive of how he gets the info to always be right is how we know your source network isn't good enough, isn't verifiable, isn't trustworthy, and gives you wrong information that you yourself even acknowledge is wrong and doesn't happen. And you just repeat other people's stories on your Twitter account to also get engagement. Does Jacob Wolf do that? Does he? I don't know that he does he? 2nd of September 2020, Misfits rumours. According to Esports Maniacals, why not just retweet their post? Why do you have to fucking get the clout from their post by posting it on your own without verifying it, right? According to Esports Maniacals, Misfits LEC team are making 2 changes. I've heard from multiple sources, notice he doesn't say they're reliable this time, that Misfits' plan is to rebuild around Kobe. Febiven and Dandan are rumoured to be out of the team. Razork, unsure. I like the way unsure is a report. I'm unsure as to whether this player will be in and out of the team. That's not news. So is everyone else who doesn't know anything. Are you ready? Reply. I need to correct something. Esports Maniacals said 2 players are staying, not leaving. Sorry. You attempted to confirm someone else's report. Did they say it in Spanish again by any chance, Wooloo? The language you apparently don't speak. What's going on here? You can't even report their news correctly. October 15th, 2020. Mad Armut. He earlier said, by the way, he had no connections in TCL as well, Turkish League. Personally, I didn't hear anything about it. Get ready for this. eSports are the ones reporting this, by the way. I think it's a Turkish site. Personally, I didn't hear anything about it. Okay, why are you posting this news then? But like I implied yesterday, whoa, where are we going? You didn't hear anything, but you implied something. I've heard that he was in good talks with an LEC team, right? That's nothing. That's actually nothing. You have a source, a reliable one that you can use to actually get information and publish it online. And their info is this. Hey, bro, Armut's in good talks with an LEC team. Good talks. Yeah, he's in good talks with them. Which team? Just an LEC team. That's nothing. That means your own source doesn't know or won't tell you. So what the fuck are you reporting? How are you able to verify when you don't even know the teams? What's going on? eSport is generally reliable. By the way, don't pass judgment on other people's reliability or credibility. You don't have any. You have no cachet or authority from which to make those claims. And quite frankly, you do not seem competent or qualified in the most literal functional sense to understand the processes and protocols of journalism and whether or not someone does or doesn't know something. So you don't get to tell us if they are reliable or not. They also have sources in Turkey, which I don't. How about shut the fuck up about what their sources are? This is a bit hype, but now I wonder where a Romeo would go. So basically, this post is like, I don't know anything about this, and I just heard he's going to a team, and they're usually pretty good because they have sources, but I don't. Can I have likes? Can I have engagement, please? Does this guy ever see a fucking piece of info it doesn't think's worth tweeting, by the way? 17th of October, 2020. Sorry, it was bad to tweet that rumour after Fnatic's defeat. I wasn't on Twitter all day today, and I'm sorry I couldn't delete it earlier. Couldn't get to the PC. I just had to get all that clout off that tweet. I'm so sorry about now. A ton of fans asked me info after Fnatic's defeat, and I didn't think before tweeting. I feel like a hypocrite. What do you mean feel? You are a hypocrite. Think of all the things I've shown that you said in your tweet longers and in your posts before about how you're going to be accurate and all the rest of it. All of a sudden, because Fnatic fans told you you're wrong, you just apologise. I can say what I want, but it can't be forgiven. You always say that, and yet you always come back like a shameless twat. How about actually paying penance? Actually putting skin in the game and showing that you're sorry for these things and being better next time? I don't know what I should do to make up for it. Don't fucking do it next time, but you will. Well, thanks for the messages. Also, he got some positive interaction from this, and so now he feels better about being absolutely wrong in what he did in his behaviour, by his own words. I will do just like in solo queue. Learn from mistakes and focus on improve. Is the joke that he's still in like fucking iron and that he's just as shit at improving in solo queue as he is as a journalist? By the way, this is the day that Fnatic lost 3-2 to Top Esports in the quarterfinals of Worlds Season 10. Now, why it would be a problem to tweet a rumour if it's real, just because they get upset, I don't know. You aren't connected to Fnatic, the team, unless you have certain sources that you were upset about this. And so I don't know what the issue is there. If what you're saying is nonsense, don't tweet it anyway, whether they got kicked out today or not. This is fucking ridiculous, mate. What the hell are you talking about? That's not even something you should even be thinking about as far as I'm concerned. But there's more. Veteran replies and goes, this is a fucking horrible thing to lay on someone after such a loss for fucking Twitter clout. You should be ashamed. When Veteran calls you out over a moral or professional thing, and he's right, you really done fucked up, if you know who that guy is. Then you go, I'm really sorry. Thanks for letting me know about it. I notice he never takes this tack with me when I call him out for being full of shit, right? I'm ashamed, and I will try my best not to make a mistake like that again. How many times are we going to hear that? How many times? Thank you and sorry. Sorry. We're sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Be better next time. I think I should mix some lies and rumours in so that you don't believe me. But I'm sorry if you did. But no one ever got a lack of opportunities because of me. I was told as much. But it may be the case that people lost opportunities because of me. Give me a fucking... This guy's so two-faced. He's a dogshit politician. Here's a good one. October 20th. Esports Maniacals, rumours of the day. Why is it posted on your account? You're not in Esports Maniacals. Why do you take their info and post it on your account? Consists of Rooks having LEC, LCS and CBLOL offers, but one LEC team is close to signing him. Apparently, Schalke contacted support player Plasma. Are you ready? Also, there's another 1% rumour that Perks could take a break next year or play on loan for Fnatic at mid. Right. 1%, how can there be a 1% rumour, right? This rumour has a 1% chance it is true, right? That means functionally it has a 99% chance it is not at all true, which means effectively it isn't true and you don't know that there's any truth to it. How could something be higher than 0% but be 1%? 1% true. And if you don't know, the whole reason people hated on Carlos is that he made it clear he would never allow Perks to go to Fnatic. He even put it into the contract when he then went to Cloud9 that there was like a clause that he couldn't even be sold directly to Fnatic. That's why in the end they couldn't do that like one later on where he was going to go to Fnatic straight after. No, not Cloud9. I'm thinking of Reckless with G2. He couldn't then go to Fnatic afterwards, could he? He had to go to Carmine Corp. Then Perks, when he was in Cloud9, couldn't come back to Fnatic like the rumour was. He instead had to go to Vitality, and Carlos was ahead of all of them on this shit, right? So what is this 1% rumour? Because yeah, you know what? It was already said by Carlos. Carlos himself basically came out and said something like it was a non-option. That was the only option that could not be considered, and everyone hated on him as a result of it. So where the fuck? It's not even your rumour, and it's a 1% rumour. Give me a fucking break. As usual, though, what do you think he's going to claim now? October 30th, TLDR. I will tweet less, be more careful with truth. You've already said earlier in the same off-season you won't do that. And wording, something he blames a million times. Tweets about actual roster changes and not details. No more, you ready? No more talks, tryouts, interests. Or too specific info. Yeah, because if you're specific, it could be shown that you're wrong and you can't rizzle as the way out and claim you're right still. Many followers equals more pressure / expectations, plus more people using me. Doesn't bother thinking about that last detail. Gets even worse with the sources, arguably. Explanation. Let's read the tweet longer. Changes needed. This off-season, I got from 6,000 to 21,000 followers. Notice he's obsessed with the literal exact growth. This means that most of you don't know that for almost a year, I would post rumours and discuss them with my followers. And yes, sometimes they were wrong. But usually, no one cared. It was rumours anyway. That's irrelevant. If you're doing journalism and you care about the truth, it's whether it's true or not. Not whether anyone saw it, not whether it caused harm. Was it true or not? That's the standard you have to hold yourself to. I leaked a lot of stuff, but I had some wrong too. More so for LEC than for ERLs. Oh, so just the really important league, not the fucking feeder small domestic leagues. Well, no biggie then, homie. But now with so many followers, the pressure got to me. It's like if everyone in the LEC is reading my tweets and every mistake I make is suddenly a big problem. They were always a big problem. The issue now is you make big mistakes and then you just wait, get the Twitter clout, delete it later, say sorry, potentially privately say sorry, and then continue on. That is a problem. I understand that. It's true that it's a problem. I also made a lot of mistakes with my wording. Why are you unable to speak in the language you choose to communicate in for clout and engagement accurately to what you think and what you've been told? I think it's because it's not that you fuck up the wording. You put the wording specifically to sound like you have more info or it's more precise than it is. Then later, that turns out to be nonsense. You didn't even know yourself. And then you're annoyed that you didn't say he might be joining this team. You said like some specific detail. And then you go, it was a miscommunication of the wording. The wording is on you, homie. You made the sandwich as it goes. Which should be really important. It should be really important, but it isn't to you because you're a scumbag who uses it to hide behind. Sometimes I talked about moves as if they were certain, but unless anything's signed/agreed, they're not. Then don't do it. That means you didn't know by your own admission if they were signed or agreed, but you reported them as if they were fact anyway. But expectations raised so much and people expect me to be reliable when at the same time, I wish people wouldn't. Listen to his own words. He doesn't want you to believe him, take what he's saying as being real or to ever actually act on what he says. He's just going to have his cake and gain all this attention and claim to be credible, accept nominations for eSports Journalist Awards. But then at the same time, why would anyone believe him? Why is he credible? What's different from him and just a Redditor? This guy is a scumbag and he uses words to get around the truth, not to access and relay the truth, as he's not even doing right now. Before this off-season, when verified accounts DM'd me, usually they were reliable. What do you mean usually? Just because it's a verified account doesn't mean what they said is reliable, but sometimes it implied by him they weren't reliable, but he was using that info. But earlier this off-season, some people working in the scene trolled me and lied to me together to maybe try to impact the market. In other words, you didn't have good enough sources or couldn't corroborate them with independent sources. For them to work together, they have to know that that's the other source you're going to. Otherwise, they're shit out of luck. There could be 30 people know about a deal, but you can't get 3 people unrelated who don't know you spoke to the other one and find out if they're lying to you or not. In that case, your info is worth nothing, mate. It could be right, could be absolute shit. There could be 2 people just saying, look, let's just play this dickhead. Oh, look, we've proven he just uses sources that even know each other and are in contact, and we've absolutely clowned this fucker. No, then they didn't do something wrong. They lied to you privately, which is morally wrong, but professionally, you done fucked up by putting it on the internet when you don't know what you're talking about. And the idea, because of expectations of people expecting you to be right, you're just putting out false information you don't know is right. Unacceptable. If you don't know, then you take the L, you sit back, and someone who does know gets that story. No, you have to take their clout. I mean, the joke is even if they do it, you still try to scoop their clout in English on your fucking Twitter account. Either you admit yourself you don't speak their language and you barely seem to know fucking English at times. It's a new challenge I have to face that came in as unexpected. Then you never had legit sources the first year, mate. If in 2019 you were getting real stories, they were never from real sources if this never happened to you before. Because this is a classic thing people do early on to fuck with you or see if they can use you as a pawn in negotiations on a bigger story, maybe a perks type scenario later on. I know that my tweets can damage players if they're wrong. You already said that it doesn't happen. They could lose opportunities. It's why this off-season I try to remind in every tweet that I do rumours. And it's why I will try to be more careful. That fucking refrain, is there an echo in here? This is mental. But I've also had pro players from ERLs last season that thanked me because they were kept as backup plans for teams and only knew about it when reading my tweet. Whatever that is. Oh, that makes up for all the stories that were wrong then. That one guy said it helped him sometime. I also think that rumours create a lot of hype and discussion. That's irrelevant. Doesn't matter. So would putting naked pictures of a bunch of people in LEC. Would that make it okay or right? What if people expected you to? What if you don't even know if it's really them? But look, it's a straight fire picture and someone else is going to go before me. You fucking clout goblin. Give me a break. I heavily considered deleting this account. But I want to believe that if I do this the right way, it could be good. So you admit it's not actually good what you do to this point in time, end of 2020. I was being told this is when you're already bona fide, you got most of the moves right, but by your own account, nah, you're not good yet. You're actually still fucking around with false information that you can't even corroborate. On the other hand, all the drama tweets I did are pointless.
And the tweets about players being in talks are often incomplete. Yeah, because they're fucking talks. It's not finished, is it? Additionally, if a player that's in talks with a team doesn't end up in the team I said he's in talks with, I have no proof it ever happened. And I sometimes get flamed for it. We can only lose. No, you don't only lose. You still gained all the credit initially. In fact, people flaming you as even engagement for your account. And they'll even follow you to tell you that you're wrong. So the idea that, like, in this scenario, oh no, fucking hell, what can I do? Oh, I didn't end up joining. I can't prove it. You don't need to. If you are like Jacob Wolf or Kevin Hale or something like that, and you have credibility, you don't need to prove it. People will know that that's what was going on and that you don't lie. You don't traffic information that you don't confirm is legitimate. This kind of stuff is also harder to verify. No, it's all of a similar level of difficulty at the LEC level, mate. You either have the sources or you don't. And let's face it, your own admission, it's clear that you don't. When you've got multiple sources, what do you mean multiple? You should have multiple sources on everything, mate. You're going off a single source sometimes. I know that. And it is obvious by the way you yourself have tweeted. When you've got multiple sources on it, the details change. So I'll stop sharing it also, he says that, because it can just be wrong. I went way too deep in the G2 stuff, and some details are maybe wrong/inaccurate. Ooh, about the biggest team in Europe. That's crazy to be tweeting that, mate. Another problem with all the followers I get, what a terrible bloody problem to have. Oh, bloody hell, pat myself on the back for all the followers. It's a nightmare. They make me do all these shit tweets that are nonsense, guys. Is that it got to a point where I can't answer every DM. How about just answer the legit people and stop answering dickhead randos from the scene that were like you 2 years ago /now. I get so many every hour asking where someone's favourite player would go. Man, fame's so tough to deal with and you haven't earned it, eh? I wish I could answer, and I will answer some tonight, but I'm so sorry I can't answer all of them. I am a politician. Vote for me. I will do everything you want. And if I don't do everything you want, I'm sorry and I'll do better next time. Please vote for me. So my decision is that. I will be more careful. You won't. You just keep saying that though. You're not even careful with how you talk about being careful. With what I share, and I will stop sharing rumours about stuff that was never verified by the public, that will never be verified by the public, and it's way too subtle to change. Right. You've just said even in this one that you think rumours are good and that working in the ones that... This guy, fucking hell, has he got multiple personality disorder? Is Wooloo a different person from Brioxigi? Can we get that information? Is Wooloo in the room with us right now? Along with whoever was joining Excel, definitely was at the time, definitely joining Excel, right? Yeah? And Sven, of course. No more tryout/drama/talks rumours. If a signing happens, I might talk about the details after if I'm sure of them, but will not before it. Who thinks he keeps this up? I'm so sorry to all my older followers, but I think that it's for the best. After LEC off-season, I will be doing ERL. I'll still be doing ERL rumours. If people don't know, he has Wooloo Jr., like a Smurf account, then he does some of the ERL ones on. Wait until you find out when he chooses which account to put the info on, by the way. So I'm sorry to everyone that's here just for the LEC stuff, but it's just what I like to do. Honestly, I don't deserve it at all, but I still want to thank everyone sending me supportive and friendly messages in private or under my tweets. I read them all, and it warms my heart, but honestly, I'm not worthy of them. I hope that you all reading this can say something supportive or nice to someone that's important and closer to you. Please do it now. By the way, the other angle he takes, even though he's a scumbag who just traffics in mistruths, things he cannot know are true, lies, incorrect information, calls other people out, says he knows what they know. He also constantly does this angle of apologising, and then I think he routinely does is he'll reply to loads of people whose family members died, be like, I'm so sorry, and essentially just like uses that angle, it seems like, even to grift/clout gain, like, I'm a really good guy even though I'm constantly being dishonest. Like, how about just show it with your work, embody it with your life instead of your words, you daft cunt. As always, I will also appreciate every criticism, lie if you see what I say later, if you think that there's other things I can improve. Sorry for the bad English and badly written text. You do your whole fucking job in English and in text on the internet, motherfucker. If you can't read and write and understand it at a high level, I think it is immoral/unprofessional to then claim that your wording and all, oh, I'm right, and look at what I'm saying, and this information is right. How the fuck would you know? It's not your language, apparently. October 24th, 2020. I deleted my... How many times is he going to be wrong in these off-seasons, by the way? I deleted my last tweet of Gilius because I got info that it might be wrong. Sorry, don't want to share something false. Wait a minute. He deleted his tweet because he got info that it might be wrong. So he never actually knew in the first place, and now he finds out it might be wrong.
Well, is it wrong or not, Wooloo? Tell us now, is it right or wrong? Oh, no, it might be. I don't want to share something false. You just did. You just did. That's what you just did. And then this guy goes, Rocks, please be careful. You have been saying a lot of wrong stuff, dude. It can damage your status. This is not a flame tweet, by the way. Just a heads up. He goes, thanks a lot, man. I know my esports maniacos translations were bad. You're translating other languages that you don't speak. Wrong. So I won't do them as much anymore. No, I won't do it anymore. I just won't do it as much since it's their content. Oh, you figured it out finally. It ain't your content to get their traffic off. Right. But about my rumours this off-season, I'm confident that they were all true. Wait a minute, you've just said that the Gilius one might be wrong. But you're confident that they're all true. If you think one of them is false, I'll gladly take the info and look to verify. No, it's not Rux's job to fucking check your work and see whether it's right and tell you it's wrong. It's your job to verify it's right before you say it. You absolute mess. Outcast guy goes, I mean, sharing rumours always means they might be wrong, no? Nailed it. He goes, yes, but if I think the rumour that it's wrong is stronger, then it's better to delete. Right, so there's two rumours going around, one that's right, one that's wrong. When he hears more that it might be wrong, probably time to delete that one. In other words, you verify after the fact. You go with one source, it's wrong. You find out it's wrong from a bunch of people, and you go, oh, well, better delete that, because actually I never verified it in the first place. But remember, it doesn't just use info from other people or hearsay or whatever. No, how outrageous. And if you message him, he'll just break all confidences and show proof that that is in fact not the case. Oh, okay. Here's one where he goes, 25th of October, okay, I got the news from the same sources, plus more, that told me about Rogue Alfari. Alfari will not join Rogue next year. The rumours that he was in talks with them were not false, but it will not happen. Then Bloop, who, let's face it, came up in a similar fashion. Maybe I'll mention him later in the video. I mean, you could at least quote the first report on this, which is Bloop himself earlier the same day saying, my sources, Rogue is not signing Alfari. So, okay, remember, Wooloo's report was about the fact that they are going to get him into Rogue. Pablo Bloop says that he's not. So Wooloo then mentions, I was wrong about that, but he's not. And but then he essentially confirms, but we will not be in Rogue. So Bloop's just sort of like, well, yeah, how about quote that I'm the one that brought out that he's not going to be in the team. He goes, I preferred to verify it by myself and wanted to add that Alfari being in talks with Rogue was not false, since I was responsible for that rumour. Your tweet didn't make it clear, but I am sorry, I should have quoted it. By the way, when someone else breaks info, if they're first before you quote them no matter what and you reference them. It's not about that you separately verified it. Doesn't matter. You quote them and they got it first. Secondly, you're responsible for another rumour that didn't end up happening. Okay, apparently behind the scenes this was possible, but you're responsible for the rumour. Like, notice how he has like ownership over info that isn't his to have, and then gets the clout off it. And now they're arguing, as they do all the time, about who should get the clout and engagement, who was really first. No, how about who was right? How about whose sources know what the fuck they're talking about, boys? 19th of April 2021, 100 Thieves in Abadage and Schalke Nuclear is crazy. There was high demand on Nuclear, but I didn't expect him to join LEC directly. For sure has the mechanical for it though. Then he goes, I missed it, partly because I'm so busy with uni right now. Sorry, guys. I get a lot of DMs and we'll for sure have rumours to share. But verifying info takes so much more time. Yeah, it does. That's why everyone can't just be firing out a million stories if they actually want to be legit. You don't do that on your stories, as we're seeing in this fucking video. Also, thanks to everyone that reached out to me about it. No, do your own fucking error correcting, mate. What, they have to do journalism on your journalism to tell you it's not journalism? Good old Bloop again. He goes, today was a good day. This guy goes, I used to feel bad when something gets announced or leaked just before I planned to, while I looked into it for a long time. I bet this guy's idea of a long time is a week, I guarantee it. But what matters isn't the result, it's the work and passion behind it. When it's there, the results will come, but not always, right? It doesn't matter if you're actually saying things that are right. What matters is that you're first. That's why he feels bad when someone else comes out with the info that he hasn't verified yet. And then, because if he'd verified it, he'd have gone with it himself. And then second, so he's mad that other people are better journalists than him. And then secondly, it's not about the result and who's right and who's wrong. It's just about the passion and the work that you put into it. Be proud of yourself because you haven't made wrong reports. Oh, he's giving Bloop credit for not making wrong reports when he himself, Wooloo's, made loads of reports, even by inference there, which is hard to do. Not hard for me, Rich Lewis, Jacob, it's not hard for us. And the outcome is a bonus. No, it's not a bonus. It's the credibility that comes from being right always is actually really satisfying because you earned it. Because you did put in the hard work, because you did beat other people to a story and actually verify it and know what you were talking about. I can see why you don't get feel nice at that, because you're not right most of the time. Well, you're not right some of the time, and you can't even claim you really know when you are right. The classic one again, 14th of May, 2021. For you, what Anonymotum, which is a different guy that I'll talk about later at the end of the video, don't worry, it's nothing bad, was it wrong? Did he went too fast without fact-checking to be sure of his rumour? How do you see it compared to what you do yourself? He said, this is in 2021, guys. When you start with rumours, you don't have a very broad network. In other words, you don't have real sources that actually know what they're talking about directly. So what we've already talked about earlier. So with some people sending wrong/bad info, it's easy to get it wrong. No, only if you just trust those people blindly and don't corroborate the information, which you don't do. You just took bad info, wrong info, that you even now know was wrong and bad, and you just put it out there and got it wrong. The more you learn and the more sources you have, the more reliable you are. Theoretically true, but the idea you have to be full of shit to begin with says a lot. He will learn from those mistakes, like I did. Actually, you'll find out later on, he learned a lot more than you, and especially with his attitude. That's the coolest part about what I'm going to talk about with him later. Here's one from 29th of May 2021 about Fnatic LEC roster changes. Since I shared Selfmade's perspective about the situation, it feels right to share another point of view, coming from a reliable person that decided to stay anonymous. Right, let me just explain to you what he just said there. Since he shared what Selfmade had to say about like whether he's going to be kicked or replaced, obviously Bwipo ends up coming in, doesn't he, and taking the jungle spot, and Selfmade's just chilling, and then it goes over to Vitality, right? Since he shared Selfmade's own words, it feels right to share another point of view. This is that stupid Fox News, fair and balanced. Like, right, here's the real info that we've verified is true, but here's some nonsense as well, just so that, you know, all sides are represent. No, journalism is about objectivity, which is the idea that there's an objective truth that you are seeking to uncover. You don't then go, but here's a bunch of shit that might be nonsense as well. That's not what you do. So the idea it feels right to share, it's not right. Is what the person's saying correct? If it isn't, then it's nonsense that you're sharing it. Coming from a reliable person, we've already seen you do not have the track record or competence to know who's reliable, and just wait and see what happens with this story. They decided to stay anonymous. So one person, totally anonymous with zero accountability, has come forward and told you a bunch of hearsay about what's going on in Fnatic. And he goes, the real reason Bwipo will jungle now is that his teammates Nisqy, Upset and Hilly did not want to play anymore with Selfmade. Selfmade was always flaming his teammates hard. They preferred to play with Bwipo. Things went seriously wrong when Fnatic lost against top esports at Worlds. Selfmade blamed and flamed Nemesis so hard after the game, not the first time by the way. Reckless, Bwipo and Hilly did not approve what Selfmade did. Now Selfmade is finally paying the bills for what he did, flaming mates behind the scenes, and he is trying to put the fault on others. Hopefully he will learn from that and it will not happen in Vitality. So they asked Bwipo, management included, if he wants to jungle, and everybody said yes and was supporting him, including all the other teammates. Yes, everyone would include them, you dumb fuck. That's how Selfmade was forced to leave Fnatic. He ran out of options. Sad for him, but it is what it is. Right? You do know, because you have no credibility, and this is just one random source, that we can't even know this even was someone else. This could just be you. You could just be getting your pen with the fucking little Selfmade trolley on the top, little troll with all the fucking crazy hair, because obviously he's flexing the fact he's Polish and still has hair in his mid-20s or whatever the fuck he is. And then little fanfic, I think why it happened, and then you just publish it. I mean, we can't tell, right? You've been wrong in the past. You've used unreliable sources. You've used sources you know have gotten stuff wrong. How do we even know? You don't even have the credibility that I can believe this is a random person. But don't worry. It gets called out by Nisqy on stream. So does he stand by it? Because this is a reliable source. Does he? Fuck. Are you ready? He goes, it wasn't the same source, but I trusted it because of who it was. Well, if you trusted him, then stand by it. Then he goes down here. What I publish is in my control. It's my bad. Wait, why is it your bad? Why is it your bad? Why isn't what you just said correct from a reliable source that you trust still, as you're implying, and therefore it's right? It doesn't matter what Nisqy says. Nisqy could be lying. Looking back,
I should have asked several Fanatic members before posting it. You're not going to get to have this epiphany 100 times that you've got to be careful and you've got to corroborate things. And you've got to find real sources for why you put shit on the internet that you will no longer even stand by, but got all the engagement and profit and traffic from. Fuck you. It's just crocodile tears, mate. And if I did, it wouldn't have happened. Well, then you wouldn't have gotten all this attention and gotten people to reply to you multiple times and go and follow your Twitter account thinking you have straight fire insider sources that no one else has, eh? Wouldn't that be a shame? Oh, I've tripped over and won again. And I'm sorry, so it's not my fault. Here's a good one. Some guy goes, good journalists don't post leaks on transfers, etc., that they can only verify from one source. He has also done this kind of thing multiple times before. Accurate by his own admission. I don't understand why people think highly of Twitter leakers. And then he goes, because Wooloo has a track record of being first to announce things that actually happen. So essentially that's why he just machine gun fires them out. Because as long as he's first, any that are true, he must have the best sources, right? Actually, by definition, he could have the worst sources. He's just not able to verify. And so since he doesn't verify, people are still trying to verify you have the real sources and he gets his out first. You've explained yourself why him being first isn't a good thing there. Does everything he tweets about happen? By his own admission, no. No, but info that he provides clearly isn't pulled out of his ass. But we can't know what is and what isn't. The fact that it even happens doesn't mean that it isn't. He's literally the person who revealed Whippo Jungle. Then some guy goes, and sometimes people who have a track record of announcing things first also don't double check info because they want to be the first to release the info. Reddit's actually get it right for once. Then he comes in, how dare you actually write this on the internet? I triple check every info. Triple check. So when he has one source, he somehow triple checks that what they said is right. That would mean you have four sources. Do you see that this person is a liar and constantly uses / misuses / abuses my beautiful English language in order to lie to you and to gaslight you and to create a false reality of what he is doing? And this is clearly knowingly done. Cynically, knowingly done and lied about. I triple check every info, but in this case, the goal was to share a perspective from a single person, which was a mistake. So then you don't triple check all info, do you? And I've already shown that you don't in the rest of the video, haven't I? But let's keep going. 2nd of June 2021, recap of roster moves I reported in the off-season, sorted by amount of tweet impressions. You know what the most important thing is? It's how many people see and click the tweet. Fanatic Adam being the king, because it was the biggest story, I'm guessing. Technically, Vitality to Kui wouldn't be wrong if I worded it differently, but I still consider it a big failure. Vitality got a bit of flame undeservedly because of me. I may have given false hope to Takui, right? Let's just process this again. So technically, he wouldn't be wrong if he'd have just said something different than what he did say. So you were wrong then. So by all technical matters, you were wrong. But you wouldn't be if you'd worded it differently again. So you think you're saying what's happening, more than you know. You don't know that. That turns out to be wrong. And if you hadn't have added in the mustard on the hot dog, you would have been right. Therefore, you weren't right and you are wrong. There's no technically, or well, actually. So then you go, you consider it a big failure. It doesn't matter because you don't ever learn your lesson from this and you never hold yourself accountable. Vitality got a bit of flame undeservedly. Oh, undeservedly because you posted wrong information. But I thought it never costs anyone opportunities or hurts them. And now you might even have given false hope to the player. The player himself might have false hope because of your wording. By the way, that player speaks French. What languages do you speak, Brioxiga? French by any chance? Your accent sure fucking sounds like you are talking like this. You can't even speak to people in French and get the correct information from essentially your own language scene. In 2021, summer. Bro, what's going on? This sounds so shit. You're years in the game at this point in time. You're giving false hope to the player involved. That's fucked up, mate. Do better. Do be more careful. Here's a good one. I reported, and I was the first person in the world, because I have incredible sources when I say something's happening, that Reckless wouldn't be in G2 for the next year. Now, Reckless himself, I don't think knew that for a certainty at the time. Other players in G2 didn't, and we're arguing back and forth. There was stories behind the scenes of maybe for market reasons we keep, maybe we don't. But it doesn't matter because I had the best possible sources, and they even told me, I'm going to only give this to you. You do what you want with it, but you get to be, because they knew I have my beef for Reckless, you get to be the one that tweets this. So I did. So in comes this cunt and attempts to, as if he has those sources, agree or say that I am right. By the way, notice he doesn't reference me.
He doesn't go Thorin as reported, or he doesn't quote tweet what I've said anything. None of that shit, right? So he goes, rumour, Reckless leaving G2 is indeed a possibility being discussed, but nothing has been decided yet. How do you know? You don't have the sources, I do. And in this particular case, I know that. Far from it. Oh, far from it, right? He's far from leaving, so he's not at all leaving. Did leave, was leaving. He's not the only player possibly leaving. Wait a minute. Just say he's not the only player leaving. You either know or you don't. Possibly. Right. Is it possible for other players to leave G2 in the offseason? Yes. In theory, all of them. So he's not the only player possibly leaving. That's nothing. Again, you took my information, didn't mention it was from me, attempted to confirm it, but still almost sort of not confirm it, because I said that he will be not in G2 after 2021. And then you also just add in a bunch of nonsense of like, but he's not the only one that could be leaving though. What a fucking clown this guy is. Don't worry though, he wasn't blocked, but he magically couldn't find the quote tweet to my tweet. So then I say on Twitter, the reason you don't listen to anonymous leakers is journalists with massive credibility like myself can't actually tell you where they were wrong always, because to do so sometimes exposes who our source is. No, it's never a problem for him because his sources clearly aren't very good, are they? He goes, that's true for anonymous leakers too. Why are you inserting yourself into this conversation when I have shown in this video you don't know what you're talking about? Then he goes, by the way, I wasn't trying to deny your info, as if you could. How could you know who I'm talking to? Actually meant to confirm. It's not made up. Not saying you would, right? The idea you need to confirm it does imply what I would say might be made up. But then the idea that you can confirm it's not made up, well, you don't know my sources. You can't confirm that either. Then also, let's be real. The real reason you tweeted it wasn't to confirm it. It was to get the same news onto your account and then for you to get engagement on your account without the engagement going to me. Though, as far as I know, nothing is 100% sure yet. But maybe I'm just behind. What do you mean maybe you're just behind? If you had the sources I had, you would stand on it. You wouldn't say, maybe I'm behind. You would know that they're not signed yet, and that's not 100%. You wouldn't then go, but maybe I'm just behind, and put that little bit of doubt in there, that plausible deniability. I don't need that, mate. And I definitely don't need shitters like you attempting to claim you can confirm what I do or don't know and have said. 2021 off-season. By the way, we're in 2021 now, guys. It should have all ended by now. We should just be like Jacob Wolf and just be totally legit, right? Of course not. So September the 3rd, rumour. BDS have signed most of Schalke's staff for the LEC. Player-wise, nothing is certain yet. I think that they will make some interesting moves this off-season, as rumours say they're ready to spend money. I will elaborate to give everyone that worked at Schalke fair chances. Some of the Schalke staff did sign with BDS, unlike some claim. No, you just said most of the staff signed with BDS. It says there, BDS have signed most of Schalke's staff, but then in your own follow-up, you say that some of the Schalke staff have signed. For the rest, so you mean the minority, for the rest, some are in talks with BDS, some aren't. So if you're a team looking for signings, please consider them. Oh, so the opposite of what your first message gave the impression of, which is that most of the staff are signed. And so you wouldn't think that you could go and get a bunch of them. But now you quickly rushed to say that that's not the case at all and actually give a contradicting rumour. You said you don't do that, like the skeleton guy at the beginning, but you've just done it to your own fucking rumour. And let's see why that is, guys. Because when he said the BDS one, in comes this guy here, Lawrence, and he says one of Schalke's social media managers, so not even a high-up person, has denied the rumour. Not saying that this proves that Wooloo is wrong, just wanted to share. The guy here, Shiro, says literally no one of us has a signed contract. And this guy goes, oh boy, Wooloo. And he goes, source, I work here. At which point, are you ready? Wooloo says, thank you. Maybe no papers were signed yet, but most of Schalke staff will work with BDS. So we've gone from BDS have signed most of Schalke staff to they've signed some to maybe no papers have been, maybe no one's signed. We've gone from they signed most of them to maybe no one, to they've signed some, definitely, to maybe nobody's signed. But most of them will work there. So why wasn't the initial thing, rumour, most of Schalke staff will work at BDS in the upcoming season? That would never give anyone the conclusion it was definitely going to happen. It's a rumour. Then they could read into that, oh, that's just a rumour though, isn't it? Will doesn't say they've signed though. I mean, that is implied if you say will. But okay. And what's weird here is he'll later contradict himself again. Don't worry.
More information about G2. Nobody is out of G2 yet. By the way, he wasn't denying what I said earlier, that Reckless won't play for G2 going forwards. But here he is 2 days later denying it by saying nobody is out of G2 yet. And there's still some uncertainty. But we will not see the same combination of 5 players plus coaching next year. Changes are to come. By the way, you can't confirm some of these things because even players didn't know some of the information that I already had behind the scenes. As I said earlier, it was never an option for Reckless to go to Fnatic. He was never allowed to talk to Fnatic. It was never an option, non-option in this particular case, right? Law comes out, this is the 28th of September, around this time. She says basically, like, everybody in the world, we've got the next, Wooloo's going to be the next Jacob Wolf, essentially, she says in French. I know a very little bit of French. And then this guy here says, like, we spoke 3 weeks ago, but okay, this is Duke from, I mean, he previously was a Splice coach, and Eros was another little shit who tried to be anonymous. He's not even big enough fish to fry in this video. Who gives a fuck about that guy? And then I go, Wooloo was found talking shit just a few weeks ago and backed off immediately once corrected. Jacob Wolf is on another level to anyone anonymous in esports. He still had never revealed himself to be Brioxiga, a Belgian guy at this point in time. It's just LEC Wooloo. Now, does this guy go, sorry, I am sometimes wrong, but I'll try to be better and be like good journalists like you? No, insult time. He goes, do you lack basic understanding of what an evidence is? What is an evidence, by the way? What is an evidence? An evidence. Do I lack a basic understanding? You don't know what fact means, confirm. You don't know what right and wrong mean. You don't know what like fucking rumor means, what leak means. You don't know what verified, what reliable, what unreliable means. But you're now asking me, veteran journalist, this is in 2021, of 20 years working professionally, making my living from this industry, whether I know what evidence is. After you've already told me you can confirm or deny report I did. You cannot know if I made something up or if it was a mistake. You've admitted yourself when it wasn't true. You fucking idiot. Or if the person denying it was the one wrong. If you admit that they're right and they were wrong, then you never knew in the first place and you've now done 2 lies. All I did was to mix up the word staff and management. Oh, so that whole thing about staff earlier, it was just the management that had gone, not the staff. Which is why a social media manager, so not a proper manager, can say it's all not the case. Oh, but are you ready? All I did is mix up the word staff and management. No, you said they'd all signed. I showed it earlier. You can scroll back in the video. He says most of them have signed. And then later admits maybe none of them signed. Then he goes, Atomium was already signed to BDS. You're spreading BS. So one person, even now, can you actually corroborate, has signed. One. And I'm spreading BS. No, you're spreading BS. Dickhead. More phrasing, tripping you up again. Tell you what, pulls off the bad guy's mask. If it wasn't for bloody old man English, I'd have gotten away with it too. November 1st, 2021. Sources, as part of their super team plan, Kazi is going to play for Vitality next year. Kazi was rumoured to be Perk's AD carry, and sources say he is Vitality's AD carry of choice, but an agreement has yet to be made. Okay, I fucked up the phrasing on that one. Sorry. I swear I read it twice. But yes, to clarify, Perks wants Kazi. Kazi is also Vitality's priority, but Vitality and Kazi have yet to find an agreement in the upcoming days. Why not just put that last part? Why not have someone who speaks English take your info and write it and put it on Twitter for you? There's got to be another dickhead like you out there who'll just do something for clout and fame. Maybe they can be called, Wooloo Junior 2.1 or whatever, and then you just give them the odds. Thanks to him occasionally for translating what I'm saying into the English language so I can get my clout. Why not do that, right? In case you're wondering why he does it. June 26, 2022. Guys, we're like 3 years into the career here and he's still obsessed about clout. If I want to reach 200k followers quickly, I need to have drama versus an esports personality. You might think he's joking here, but I don't think it is the case if you look at how he does respond to people. Who wants to 1v1 me on Twitter? I'm very mean and angry. Grrr, grrr. Someone probably just goes Thorin, because if you search it, you find Thorin. He goes, it works for him. I don't need to do that, mate. I don't do things for engagement. I say what I think is true and what I want to put out in the world, and then I'll let it ride as it is. If it gets engagement, it does. If it doesn't, who gives a fuck? I don't care what plebs think. Then, of course, the same year, he gets nominated as a Journalist of the Year. It was won by Ashley Kang, but you'll see you have Ashley Kang there, one of the best interviewers in esports, female Korean Travis Gafford, but all the same, post-game interviews are necessary. You've got Kevin Hitt, does real journalism. Shandy Texera, I don't really know him that well, or whoever that is. Richard Lewis is obviously a beast. Adam Fitch was actually someone who tried, unlike
Wooloo to report legit stuff and call people out. Jacob Wolf, we all know him. He can be very good. He can be an utter arsehole, sniffs his own farts instead of oxygen. Briuk, LEC Wooloo Seeger, already looks completely out of place having your name like that. Not just Briuk Seeger, but by the way, he's gone back to LEC Wooloo now. Antonio Yuste, which is that like guy from Esports Maniacals, so not Mr. Esports Maniacals in case you're watching Wooloo. Liz Richardson, so Ms. Liz, utter piece of shit. Literally, he's reported stuff that was eavesdropped in a room where she had no permission to. George Geddes, another guy who tried to be a bit like Adam Fix, maybe got a bit too much influencer. Lewis Mira, in general, very good, old school guy from Counter-Strike. Cecilia D'Anastasio, I think is a despicable human being, inherently disingenuous and dishonest, but she did do a couple of massive articles that were important, right? Like the one about riot, sexism, etc. Not sure why she's nominated in 2022, but whatever. She'll have done a couple of stories, I've no doubt. He gets nominated despite all the bullshit that I've just talked about. He doesn't even consider himself a journalist. He's just a leaker of rumours, right? November 10th, 2022, last off-season. Clarifying information. Why are we clarifying? Just get it right the first time, you fuck. Crusher, so Culture Fanatic, has a clause in his contract that gave him the option to become a free agent this off-season if he wasn't promoted to LEC Fnatic's LEC team. This means Academy was still possible. So my wording was wrong. What's the wording? You just were wrong. The words didn't do it to you. You don't just get a bunch of alphabet soup and then it climbs out with legs and starts writing what it thinks you might want to say. You choose the words. So no, the wording wasn't wrong. You were wrong. But you keep hiding behind the wording 1,000 fucking times. You can't think, you can't verify, you can't do journalism, and you can't speak or write. What the fuck can you do, idiot? Additionally, no penalty would have to be paid, so you were just wrong about everything then. But it was the wording, right? We'll delete my tweets from earlier. Too late. Damage is done. And I apologise to Fnatic for the incorrect information. Apology not accepted. You are repeatedly wrong, habitually wrong in esports. We'll make sure this does not happen again. Another barefaced lie. You never do stop them fucking happening, as I'll talk to about this particular off-season soon. Then this guy goes, did you apologise for this as well? Where Denvoxney is a guy who says, this isn't true, and I'm still exploring all my options for 2023. Please contact me if you are interested in tryouting or having a talk with me. So he's presumably said this guy's going somewhere. He goes, yeah, I called him to explain the situation and to apologize. He's now calling people to explain why he's publishing nonsense about them on the internet that might ruin their very prospects. Have you ever heard of this guy? Well, no wonder. No wonder. That's not it though, because here was the original tweet. What he'd said was that this guy would be on Bitfrost and he'd be on a team as ADC with Twists, Hidon, Milica, Tinks, and Cerberus, I'm guessing you say it as. That's what he originally posted that he later deleted. And this guy had to come out with his old account and say, this is not true, and I'm still exploring my options. But he says here, NL sources, not like leak, sources, NLC's Bitfrost is the first ERL team to have locked a full roster. They have reached a verbal agreement with the following. In fact, they hadn't reached a verbal agreement and they hadn't locked the roster. Is it a verbal agreement or have you locked the roster? Locked is you've signed everyone, this is the team. You've even submitted it in theory if it's locked. Shows you how full of shit this guy is now. He constantly just uses words to dance out of trouble. Now on that Smurf account, he has some bullshit there too. This guy goes, kind of interesting you'd post lower-end LFL rumours on main account, but other ERLs, regardless of the level, on a secondary one, lol. Why does he do it? Are you ready for how cynical this guy is and what it's all about? The way I decide this is if I think a post will be liked by more than 1% of my following, so plus 2,500 likes, I post it on main. Obviously made a few mistakes. What, in front of your entire audience and 1% of people are going to like the post? That ends up being nonsense. I'll post a recap of all Prime League rosters on main. Well, how magnanimous of you to get even more clout on your main account. Are you ready? I promised it. I promised it was coming, boys, and here we go. Get ready for the Vethor Excel saga. And this isn't about Excel. They did something stupid. It's mainly about Wooloo because it reveals how he's getting some of these stories. And a lot of other journalists are going to get a fucking tight ass when I start talking about this and they realise, oh, I know about you too, son. There's some people in CS I'm coming for soon as well, don't worry. So it says 8th of November 2022, sources, not leak, not rumour, mid laner Vethor has reached a verbal agreement with Excel for next year. That is at 2 minutes past 12, beginning of the 8th of November. Now, here's the problem with this particular news story, is that at the time of this news story being published, It was not the case that Vethor had reached a verbal agreement. It was not the case that Excel said he would be their mid laner. And it was not the case that he was joining their team. In fact, it was all the opposite of that. And it's actually because of this story and the response from the public that they ended up signing him, as mad as that might sound. But I do real journalism, so I know what I'm talking about. So here's what was really going on behind the scenes. Excel wanted Targamas as their support, and then they wanted a bunch of mid laners, a bunch of them that were Korean, interestingly enough. Some of them ended up playing in LCS or LEC, and some of them didn't, but with hot prospects at the time. I could mention some in the future when the statute of limitations has passed. Basically, they had Vethor just as like a potential 4th, 5th or 6th option. That's how far back we're going. They wanted a Korean mid laner. Even some of the players said they wanted a Korean mid laner. So what happened was they wanted Targamas, and Targamas was being represented, as far as I know, by the same agent as Vethor. And so they were trying to make it like a package deal. And they were even trying to imply like, well, we'll just both go to Mad Lions. So if you just want Targamas, so you better sign Vethor. Doesn't matter. Excel was holding strong. They weren't going to do it. They were like considering like maybe do like just in case, you know, like, well, let's just keep it as like, keep it on the back burner. But obviously we're going after all these other people. But you never know what's going to happen at the end of the season. You might desperately need someone last second. So, okay. Then you have the whole thing where it's pressure from the agent, like, we've got to have this deal done, like, they're going to go to Mad Lions. But in the end, it doesn't happen. They even tell him, oh, well, actually, he's not going to Mad Lions, so he's free to come to you guys. And I can tell you, Excel was not planning to sign him. They didn't want him. They had all these other people that they wanted instead, and they were getting Targamas. They had Targamas. That's why this angle was being pushed. Like, they've got to be a package. They've got to come together. They've got to come for even, like, maybe that non-committal offer. You said, what about that, eh? Oh, we haven't got much time because Mad Lions needs an answer. So, okay, it gets completely turned down. The agent is told this isn't happening. Out comes Wooloo's article, out comes the Reddit post, positive things, people, wow, super team on Twitter, oh my God, this is a great signing, Vethor was awesome in Misfits. Supposedly, even players and people in the org start going, hey, even though the top people were the ones who make decisions, like, great job, like, this is awesome, they were getting Vethor, I wanted him instead of a Korean mid. And supposedly, then Excel just decided, fuck it, and they just sign him anyway. So there you go. The whole thing wasn't even the case when he published this. And based on what I know, his only sources could have been the agent himself and or the other player involved in this situation. That's it. Internally, I know this. It was not going to be Vethor who would have been the mid laner of Excel for 2023, even though you will now know he was. It was terrible. That's why certain people didn't want him in the org. And it ended up even getting people fired and they had to lose their job, by the way, including Targamas. So after that, you must think to yourself, well, there's no way he'd have the audacity to call you out, Thorin, when he's doing shit like that and you know things like that behind the scenes. Get ready. October 27th, 2023, recently, I made a post. Tell me where this says anything about Wooloo. It says flag, team, plus embellishment and language suggesting deal is done when no contract has ever been drawn up, minus integrity and comprehension of source quality and verification methods. More at blindcheapesports.gg. Now, here's what happens. He goes, at least read the article. It's literally written in first paragraph that he never signed a contract. Who? Who are you talking? Are you just talking to people inside your own head, mate? I've never said anything. I did an abstract tweet without mentioning a player or a team. But here's what I did do. Yeah, I put sheep esports at the end because here's what, you know what the funniest thing about this is? He got triggered by this tweet thinking he literally knows exactly what story I'm referring to, even though it's just a guilty conscience. Because actually this tweet was about Harubi from CS2/CSGO, who does that style. He does flag plus this person minus this other person. That's what he does. And then people go, oh my God, is that really happening? Now, he does only do it on Twitter, but the reason I put more at blindcheapesports.gg is because I also know Wooloo's full of shit and some of the people who work for his site. So since he's just launched sheepesports.gg, why not make it like if you follow him, you're a blind sheep following like the wrong shepherd, and then, or a wolf in sheep's clothing. Brilliant one there, right? LEC Wooloo. That's how the only way you could become like Jacob Wolf is just be a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? So obviously as a joke, I've put more blind sheep, which doesn't mean sheep esport, it means blind sheep esport. So then he's gotten triggered and he's assumed with his guilty conscience, he knows exactly what I'm referring to and that I should read what article? You know what's great about this? He goes mental like he knows what article I'm referring to. And in doing so, gives away that he's assuming and guessing that he knows what I'm talking about. So he's pretending to know more than he does about what other people know or could know. Oh, you mean the MO of his entire fucking career as a journalist slash leaker slash someone who shouldn't be trusted, believed, or have his words taken for granted? Interesting. Well, what about right after that? I mean, he's always right about stuff, right? So he wouldn't fuck over CL, the coach of heretics, right? Formerly of Rogue. Oh, what's that? He publishes here on Cheap Esports. Sources. Vivo Keedstars have reached a verbal agreement with mid laner Takui, this motherfucker's getting work from him again, bot laner Smiley, and coach CL for CB LOL 2024. More details by Wooloo. CL himself comes out and says, potentially hugely damaging leak, especially for me, given that I haven't actually agreed to anything or signed a contract. Leakers are doing so much damage this offseason, I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually face legal action in the case of bigger contracts. It's not the problem with Wooloo, but with all leaks in general. All come with consequences. Not for the leak, you'll notice. From what I heard, a few birds heard the news as well. So if it wasn't him, it would have been some other leaker. By the way, dickheads like him always justify privately, but someone else would have leaked it if not me. Then you let them be the one who's not accountable and puts bullshit on the internet just because you don't know you're right, but you want to be first. That's the greed. That's DK came back and nailed it with these fuckers. It's just about what's in it for you. Your logic isn't like, oh, but is it true? Is it right? Will this hurt people? Yours like, but I want to be first. I want the clout. I want Matt to gain fame and attention. I want them to know me, and I heard it before the other people heard it. That's what it's all about. Now, what he's saying there, by the way, incredibly damaging, is because CL at this point in time is under contract with Team Heretics. And if Team Heretics believes he is trying to poach himself to another team, they can actually potentially release him from his contract, meaning he doesn't get any money or buyout or get paid the rest of his cash. They can fuck him over in a million different ways, all because you're making it sound like he has agreed to a contract elsewhere, something he cannot do until his own team agrees to a buyout or a release or something like that. But it gets more than that, because he has the audacity to go back at Steel. Is that not what verbal agreement is? What do you think they should do, save for simply not doing their thing? Add something like verbal agreement, no documents have been signed yet, or what? He put, there's no verbal either. Depends on team. There never was a verbal agreement to join the team. There never was one. Out comes Wooloo, with the audacity to imply that he's right, by the way. Surprised to wake up to this and tired of not speaking up when accused of fake information. You yourself in the video revealed that you had loads of fake information, you fucking rat. I remained quiet the last time in order to keep confidentiality. Don't. If you're telling the truth, stand on it. But you know you're not. But look, Chris isn't one of the people who gave me this leak. Oh, brilliant. So you've got false information. You got false information, yeah? However, I reached out to Chris before publication and he warned me the report could be damaging, and I told him, no problem, I can wait. Later, he told me it's fine to publish given the information I had. I went with it. I assumed it was safe by then. 2 days ago, an agent accused Sheep Esports of fake information, and many people who never heard of him went on to believe that we made a big mistake. No. Checker Lad has a verbal agreement with BK Rog Esports for 2021, 100%. There's no mistake there. Verbals with the LEC. Anyway, skip down all this. You get the point. The reason I managed to have so many reports is because I work with everyone all the time in the LOL esports industry, and I always keep my word. All of that's just not true, is it? He doesn't work with everyone. Keep sources confidential and people can trust me. I think that's my strength. Now, your strength's just posting shite and then rizzle-dizzling your way out of it. And why I have so much information, I've shown you just get it wrong all the time, mate. Month after month after month. Reports can often be good. Not always from you. Sometimes they can be damaging. Oh, like this one. I try to avoid bad situations as much as I can, but as long as my information is correct, then I'm doing my job. If I fail, then I will apologise. Doesn't apologise here. But there are also situations where I will be called out for bad info wrongly, and I can't do much there is sometimes in order to protect sources. Yeah, tough shit. We're all swallowing that shit sandwich. You're the one who's just crying about it 24/7. In this case, there are some things that I can't share, such as which information I got and how. But Chris and I had a misunderstanding on what would be published and on what a verbal agreement means. If Chris hadn't signed any contract or agreed to a terms of a contract at this stage, I didn't mean to claim otherwise. You literally said that there was a verbal agreement. I apologise to Chris for the confusion around it. Yet he starts the day pissed off that people are calling him out. All the way down, he apologises because he might be wrong, even though he said that there was a verbal agreement and that they signed. It's very difficult to read reactions to this when I work day and night to publish good information. What about the shit information? You work day and night for that too? But in the end, I understand the responsibility I have. You definitely don't, as this video has shown. I see a lot of reactions to this questioning the necessity of such reports, and I agree with some concerns, as I want to share much more than what announcements also do. This is why I looked for funds all year in order to hire all the league reporters and people needed to surround us under one name. I started from zero experience with making a business or leading people. These are whole new skills to learn, as there are many people under my responsibility. You're not even responsible for yourself. How are you going to lead people? I don't know. And can lead to mistakes on many levels. But I know that we will learn and succeed. You don't. There's nothing you don't know because you promise it and never happens. This project allows us to share more details than we could previously due to the competition we had and still have. But it will allow us to do much cooler content, such as shows and articles where we can talk about everything behind the scenes. Hey, at least this way, he not only gets to share in their credit, but pays them something for it. Before, he just took their info and didn't credit them and said the wrong shit on the internet. I hope that you will continue to look forward to it, and I promise that my intention is to make something good and not hurt any crowd. Right, he's apologising for being wrong here, buries the lead completely. So you'd think it was actually about him shutting Seal down, and then at the end, it's an advert for his fucking company on an apology post. I was under the understanding that Wooloo would post that this team had interest in me. Oh, so you didn't post and listen to what he said. I stress this is a source issue. I have no agreements, but I have asked for a draft contract to review terms. I'm still in the phases of figuring things out with heretics. He puts, I have always reported verbals, no interest, and it seems we disagree on whatever. The guy involved in the story is wrong about whether he had a verbal agreement. I'm extremely sorry if this causes damage. No. You should know if it's right or wrong and if it causes damage. But I don't think the issue lies in sources. Nah, I guess, wait a minute. Is it me that's wrong, kids? Or is it CL? The guy I talked to? No, it's CL. CL must be the one that's out of touch. Give me a fucking break. By the way, here's what I heard behind the scenes. I heard Seal had essentially agreed, like, I want to look at a contract, but he hasn't been able to sort it out with the Rex at all. And he knows he can get contract jailed and fucked and released and not get any of his money. And so basically, Wooloo tries to sort of bait him and then agrees that, like, oh no, I've heard you're stuck in heretics. And so CL asks him not to leak it and mentions how bad it is and that he's trying to talk to Riot about this issue. Wooloo confirms he won't leak it in case it's problematic and that he can wait, but then later gets the info from someone else and leaks it anyway. So a lie what he told CL. And then he refuses to take responsibility yet and basically tells CL, like, anyway, I'm just going to move on from this drama. Then does this fucked up post where he buries the lead that he actually is apologising if it caused any harm. Fuck you. Not if, fuck you. How about fuck you? How about that, eh? Last one. Then he gets mad on November 4th. By the way, this shit with Seal was on fucking November 3rd that he's finishing saying that. A day later, a discussion in DM, and he goes, except I don't think I even retweeted that one, by the way. In fact, I didn't. This is a totally unrelated one. I retweeted the Seal one, where Seal correctly called him out and even apologised. He goes, new meta. If you don't like my news, say it's fake. When have I said it's fake and it wasn't fake? No evidence of that. No screenshot of that. Bonus points. You might get your most liked tweet ever and get a retweet from Thorin. So implying that I retweet lies or things that aren't true and that the person just doesn't like you and so they lied and said it's fake and I might retweet it and that might get you loads of Twitter engagement. Notice how even when being called out, it's not about whether it's true or whether I was justified in calling him out. It's about if that person gets a bunch of clout and engagement in 2023 November. A year after he was nominated for Journalist of the Year. A year after he's worked for a real salary that more than probably your fucking dad makes, writing him news for Upcomer. And then he's now trying to imply I just retweet things as a lie because I don't like... No, I don't like liars and lies. And since you are someone who consistently lies, you are a liar, and so I don't like you and your actions. Yes, you little rat. Not this random fucking story I don't know about that I haven't retweeted. The real ones that you didn't know about, that you were full of shit on multiple times, as I've pointed out in this video, as you yourself acknowledged publicly. What an absolute cunt this guy is. So the thing about leaking's whatever. Yeah, obviously people are going to leak. I get that. You can't stop them. Info is out there in the scene. There are open secrets or rumours of what's going to happen. But do it responsibly. Like, first of all, very clearly mark it as a rumour. Only say what you know. Say it's from a source I can't even really qualify. Say how likely it is that it's true. These are all things that would be good if you knew what you're talking about. Then, don't attack legit journalists when you don't know what they know, or think you can confirm or deny their stories when you don't know what they know. And also, don't ever try and put yourself on the same level as real journalists who have integrity, use their real name, and are accountable for mistakes they make. Don't do it for fame or to attention whore. And if you do, then fucking sit on it and understand that that's what you're doing it for, and then don't cry when people imply that's what you're doing it for. Also, figure out the real methods of journalism. How about just even for the satisfaction of knowing you did a good job? Learn what corroboration is and how you independently verify sources. Don't get played by a good source, but who might be telling you a line of bullshit for their own reasons. And don't go off one source, no matter how good that source is. I don't care how good it is. Do you want to know how someone like Jacob Wolf can do a story off one source? He'll have a source that's so good that he'll basically be able to tell that source, if you lied to me on this, I will find a way that this will come back to bite you. And so both of our credibility are tied up with this particular story. And by the way, you have to be at the God tier level to do that. And you ain't at that level. If you even have to ask, am I at that level? You aren't at that level. You're just a fucking Pokemon on Twitter. Now then, there's another guy who was essentially the original Wooloo, and someone all came after Wooloo, or whatever the fuck. Another kid out there doing it. This is just an example of how shitty leakers are routinely when you call them out for being full of shit. So here's a good one. You all know Bloop, good old Pablo. So what happens is, May the 5th, 2020, I think this is when I was tweeting about Lena and all the corruption and fucking conflict of interest with her and Dobblelift and her being the president, her lying about poaching. So a dickhead gets mad that I've tweeted about something he doesn't know about as a story. I think he's 17 or 18 at this point in time. He comes out and in Spanish, he says, Thorin is one of the most pathetic people in esports and he never tires of proving it day after day because I've published information he doesn't know and can't verify, but it's just decided is bad and pathetic, right? To hold people accountable for conflicts of interest. So don't worry, let's see what happens. After saying that publicly on his Twitter account, let's look what his next comment is to me. So that was 5th of May 2020. 27th of February 2021, I talk about the fact that like Jacob Wolf is a moron because Jacob Wolf, by the way, was accusing me of being like a hypocrite for working with Flashpoint but calling out ESL, our competitor, for stuff they did wrong. That's every industry in the world where you call out what you think shit about your opponent. There's no hypocrisy there. I've always disclaimed that I worked for Flashpoint, that I'm with this rival. I've never told a lie in my career. He's never been able to prove as much. He just had a tantrum, like Bloop does, and goes on the internet and posts shit about me he doesn't know about. So then I wreck him. So this cunt comes in after saying about me being the most pathetic person on the internet, goes, I think you can express your opinion without insult randomly, to be honest. Something he himself failed to do. Also, who is this guy? Why do I have to reply to him? He's a fucking nobody. Then here's a good one. Rich points out, look in the quote tweet here, it's 2022 and a professional leaker / journalist thinks it's acceptable to work for .esports, the website he publishes his reports on, and an esports team at the same time. What a total fraud. If you have no integrity as a journalist, you are worthless. I would agree with that last sentiment. So here's what he was showing. That on his account, Pablo, Bloop, was 19 and works proudly for .esports and Koi, an esports org and a website. Now, here's the problem with that. There's obviously conflict of interest there, but it's worse than that. He also, at one point in time, joined G2 Arctic Spanish part. He was also in G2 as well, while he's doing reports about these teams. Then, because Rich has pointed it out, a guy who's 19 at this point in time, in 2021 or whatever, has the audacity to come out and talk like he was there in the early scene and knows what's going on with the shittest refrain ever to H2K. How's H2K doing, bro? Because Rich goes, Spanish fans, I'm sure if there was a negative story about Koi, that Bloop would handle it very professionally. It wouldn't be caught in an awkward situation. Why? Spanish fans, he's Spanish. He goes, how's H2K doing, bro? Right, H2K were the ones who made franchising possible in Europe. They're the ones who pointed out how you lose so much money. They're the reason why people like G2 and Koi, who you then work with, are able to be in the LEC and make some sort of revenue back and survive and be alive in esports winter. And your take is, because they didn't get into franchising and didn't attempt to, is how's H2K doing, bro? Do you know what an insane job H2K did? Routinely going to worlds, top finishes. Yeah, they weren't winning because only fucking G2, Fnatic and Alliance could win back then. Those teams way back in the day. But you're going to act like they're trash. You know nothing about H2K, you fucking dickhead. Are you ready? Then he comes out where, because Rich is calling him out, they get mad triggered that I retweet and signal boost these posts, by the way, because they're all about clout, these little goblins. He says, I won't attempt Spanish again. He says, I will have to give explanations to any of the parties involved if required, not to a fucking slingshot. I hope this has resolved your question. Right, so when you point out, so you work for multiple teams while you're also reporting them without disclosing it. It's just sort of like, listen, I'll have to explain it to them, but I don't have to explain it to you. Oh, well, that's interesting, because what about this article here? Remember the year? This is in 2021. September the 1st, 2021. Ibai and PK, so the people behind Koi, acquire Astralis SB Superliga spot for 300,000 euros. Right, here's the problem with that. If you read the article, does it contain a disclaimer, I work with or worked with Koi at the time of this publishing or earlier this year? No, it doesn't. It's just reported. And we're just supposed to trust that this arsehole who's lying and insulting people, that he's actually knows what he's talking about. So then, are you ready for the ultimate version of what a dickhead this guy is? January the 3rd, 2022. I respond to what he'd said at the end of December 2021. He goes, I was wondering if I could sell this as an NFT picture that I've blocked him. We don't even know that I've blocked him. It doesn't say on his account, it just says I've blocked someone. If we could sell this as an NFT. But then I realised that wouldn't make sense since 70% of the esports industry always owns it. I know he's joking, but that's an obvious lie. Obviously, 70% of the industry isn't blocked by me. I had 200,000 followers at the time. Then how about this whole angle that like, look, I'm blocked by him. That implies he doesn't care about being blocked by me. It's not important or it's irrelevant because everyone is. And so, you know, he obviously wouldn't want to then follow my account, would he? So I reply and say, send another private message begging to be unblocked, loser. Because that's what he'd done. A few months before this, he privately sent me a Twitch message. I don't even use Twitch or stream. He just guessed that was my name and sent me a message begging to be unblocked, which I'll show you in a second. So look, I put heard how much for this as an NFT, guys. Messaging unverified Twitch accounts in the hopes of being able to beg Senpai to unblock on a free internet bird app. Tight life player. And then you'll see here, never spoken to him before. He just messaged me, yo, can you unblock me? I think I've never interacted with one of your tweets previously. Is that true, guys? Rewind. Did he interact with one of my tweets? I'm curious if I did something offending you. He can't even do Twitter advanced search. A journalist working for .esports can't figure out Twitter advanced search and search what he's said to me on Twitter. I was about to drop a DM yesterday, but I can't. Yeah, because you blocked because you're a prick. You fucking moron. What's his response? Does he own it? Of course not. And I said, totally can't imagine why people question the reporting of a two-faced nobody. Now, because when he did that post, he was trying to capitalize on the clout that I talked about, the problems with the women's league, ESL Impact, and how it wasn't actually built and necessary because of male toxicity. And then I was attacked by loads of women. So I mirrored back and showed what they were saying, and people lied and said I was making up horrible things women said, and that's misogyny. So let's see what angle he pivots to here now that I've caught him out. He goes, Yep, I agree that it was completely disrespectful behaviour from my side, as you can see on this crazy expose. You've never exposed me for shit, oh motherfucker. Definitely comparable to all your misogyny on Twitter during the last weeks. Go outside. Right, you don't know how Twitter works. And also, I'm so misogynistic, you want to be unblocked by me. Oh, wait, did you only magically find out I'm this extreme misogynist arsehole in December of 2021? Give me a fucking break, will you? Oh, yeah. It's definitely comparable to your misogyny. I haven't done any misogyny, you fucking prick. Apart from being quite ignorant in terms of inclusion. Yeah, right. Inclusion means just accepting everything everyone else ever says without disagreeing. Oh, wait, you're not doing that. You're literally exclusive right now. And many more looks like Duncan, I am esports, Thorin. Yeah, my surname's Thorin. Yeah, you're right. You've nailed that one. My name's Duncan Thorin. And my actual alias is I am esports. You've fucking nailed it all across the board here. Doesn't even know what begging means. Right. Someone you don't know, you don't even know that's my account. You're asking me like, oh, but I don't even know why I'm blocked. I don't think I've ever even messaged you and can I just be unblocked? And like, I tried to DM you. That's begging, mate. You don't know what my language means. You're another dickhead who should just be, hablo español? And I'll just go, no. And then just fucking move on with life. Begging, especially for some attention, is what you do on your Twitter profile on a daily basis. This guy, apropos of nothing, because he saw I was trending on Twitter, begged for attention about me by posting that he was blocked by me. And now it's me who's the beggar. This is just classic psychological projection. You're just projecting everything he's doing onto me. I am clearly not the beggar, am I? And then how about this angle as well? This guy goes, no offense, man, but DMing him in the first place was very low. And now even trying to attack him again is even lower. Just ignore the cringe guy. This guy doesn't even like me, but he understands you're a dickhead. He goes, how is that DM from 3 months ago, by the way? Oh, 3 whole months. Look, I know in your life you came out of a dick 5 seconds ago with a guy like, oh, míos, Dios. I understand that, but the rest of us have been live years, mate. Like 3 months ago is nothing. It's a blink of an eye. How is that low? Well, then why would it be an issue at 3 months ago? If it's not low, just own it. I think it was quite polite. Yes, to rudely not even bother to find out why the person you've routinely insulted and talked shit on is actually upset with you and doesn't consider you a legit person they ever want to hear from on the internet again. Yeah, that's polite what you did. Lacking self-awareness and then being an arsehole saying they're extremely misogynistic. I meant the fact that you actually care about that cringe guy who is banning everyone who has his own opinion, by the way. Banning you is law, isn't it? Are you ready? By the way, you do realise people who think I'm a misogynist or hate women thought that years ago, but you only learned it in December, almost like you don't know what you're talking about. Thing is, I used to respect this guy's work 3 whole months ago, before everything he is doing on socials recently. Oh, guys, think about all the dramas in my career, but it's only in December of 2021 that finally I crossed the line and got crazy with it. It's almost like this guy's a Johnny-come-lately who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So I was genuinely curious about why I was blocked. Not enough to do with Twitter DM search, of course. Now, I promised at the end that I would mention someone who's another person in the leaking world. His name is Alejandro Gomis. His alias is Anonymotum. Not sure how you're supposed to say that. And if people don't know, he's one of the few people I actually can say, I can't vouch for what he said because I can't know his sources, but I can vouch that he seems like an earnest person who wants to improve, who wants to get better at this, who wants to be a legitimate journalist and not publish incorrect information. He has publicly and privately apologised when he got stories wrong, such as that last one where he was supposedly actually not going to resign. He was going to go elsewhere, and in the end he ended up joining Rogue again. He's been totally open about it. He's even openly said that he's had to bury stories. I've talked to him about this because other people had the story, but he hadn't verified it, and then they were going to get first, and it's frustrating because he's about to get the story over the line, and they're publishing a leak, but he's going to get the real story. And I told him, yes, these are all the nightmare areas, mate. These are all the pitfalls. This is the minefield of journalism, especially roster moves. It's why I actually do hope that he does stuff in CS2. I think in CSGO, we need better people. I'm going to talk in a future video about how shit the leakers in that game are. So this guy even works for Sheep Esports. If it's just I hate Wooloo irrationally, I mean, I think I've shown you for 2.5 hours why I do. If I just hate him irrationally and it's just because I'm jealous about his fame or something, then why would I big up someone who works for his site? I've even retweeted posts from Cheap Esports because they were by Anonymotum, the guy I actually do want to encourage. I do support to some degree in his career. And actually, I do think, like Anakin Skywalker, we will be paying close attention to your career. Like, it's of interest to me now because he actually has the right attitude and doesn't attack the OGs and act like a prick. He actually takes it on the chin and does try to improve. Not just says, I'll be more careful and sorry and I hope I can get better. Sorry. Like the signature fucking catchphrase of Wooloo. You press one button, he just says a bunch of shite you heard from an unreliable source. You pull the string and then he apologises and says that he'll do better in the future and maybe he won't post so many leaks that aren't true, but also maybe he will post leaks so people can know that he's full of shit, and also because it's fun and gets attention and provides hype and gives viewership to the LEC, and that's why Spring Splits has more viewership. Give me a fucking break. These guys are ridiculous.
Hey, this is Smithy and you're watching Thorin's YouTube channel.
When I make content, it isn't just me, the mic, and a guest or a topic. It's also me with the support of my whole crew. Who's that, you might ask? The Scrulluminati. That's who. They include Frisky, Matt Pugnatio Rajcula, Ahmed Hadjou, Tosh, Tobias Bernasconi, Jensen Goh, Animosity, Thooorin, and you know it if you've heard it before, but if you haven't, a special thanks goes out to my main man, Jerky's Minion. Well, if you want to know upcoming topics and guests I'm going to have on my channel, maybe you want to ask me a question to answer in an AMA in video fashion. Do you want to hear one of those long discussions and actually be part of it and be able to ask me questions? Want to find out who I'm going to interview next? If any of these perks or more appeal to you, put your money where your mouth is. Join the Scrulluminati today via the Patreon link in the description box below.